What's up, my friends in film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. Thank you to Jeremy for filling in so admirably, for Lady Cora for bringing a little bit of class and filling in for me while I was dealing with things that just pop up in life. We were talking about it before the show, but that'll all work itself out. I'm not worried about it. But we are here to continue the week of Tom Clancy. I mean, there's lots of movies based on Tom Clancy books we could talk about. Definitely, I'm really bummed that I missed Tuesdays because while I enjoyed this movie and all the other ones, Hunt for Red October is the pinnacle of Tom Clancy Ryan-verse films that have been made, and I'm really bummed that I missed that one. But these two did it just right. I listened to most of the review live and listened to the rest of it the next day. These guys did fantastic. A great breakdown of that. Go back and check that one out.
We didn't score a moment the whole thing too much for your liking?
No. I learned a long time ago I can't stop you guys anyway. So as long as it's timed okay to like vamp a little bit so some production work can get done, I've learned just to kind of work with it like that. But yeah, always glad to have my co-host here today with me, starting with the Dowager Countess Lady Cora. How are you tonight, ma'am?
I'm great. I told Jeremy on Tuesday my new air conditioner is way better than the old one, and so I was really pissed I had to get a new one and spend the money, but now it's just like I can't even tell you. It's great.
Yeah, because that's not something you can live easily without in your neck of the woods.
We were in the 90s already this week.
I believe it.
Jesus.
Yeah. I believe it. But and of course, my hetero life mate Jeremy. What's up, brother?
Yeah, and I'm over here. We're scraping the ice off our cars and whatnot.
Oh, God. Yesterday I walked out and I was like, it's not going to get below freezing. I'll be fine. No. Had to warm the truck up. Had to scrape some ice. I was like, damn it.
Hey.
So much of this winter bullshit.
Hi, Rachel.
I'm done.
We tell her Cora said hi.
But that's okay. Twice in a row, I get to wear a nice hat. Keep you warm for the winter.
Speak in Russian accent.
It's very cold. The only thing is to keep warm.
But yeah, let's get right down to it. Again, one of the funner movies to watch in the movie Ryan-verse is Sum of All Fears. It is a 2002 American spy thriller film directed by Phil Alden Robinson, based on Tom Clancy's 1991 novel of the same name. The film, which is set in the Jack Ryan film series, is a reboot taking place in 2002. Jack Ryan is portrayed as a younger character by Ben Affleck in comparison with the previous films, The Hunt for Red October, starring Alec Baldwin as Jack Ryan, and the sequels, Patriot Games and Clear and Present Danger, both starring Harrison Ford as the character. In the film, an Austrian Neo-Nazi plans to trigger a nuclear war between the United States and Russia so that he can establish a fascist superstate in Europe. After the Neo-Nazi scientists build a secret nuclear weapon that is detonated in Baltimore, CIA analyst Jack Ryan, played by Affleck, is the only person who realizes that the Baltimore bomb was a black market weapon, not a Russian one. With the clock ticking, Ryan has to find a way to stop the impending nuclear war. The Sum of All Fears received mixed reviews from critics, but was a financial success, having a worldwide theatrical run of $193.9 million compared to its production budget of about $68 million and related marketing cost. Rotten Tomatoes reports that 59% of critics gave the film positive reviews, and then an average rating of 5.9 out of 10 is based on a total of 176 reviews counted. The consensus review reads, quote, a slick and well-made thriller that takes on new weight due to the current political climate. This movie actually was scheduled to come out in the fall of 2001, but due to reasons that were not 9/11 related, it actually got pushed for other reasons. Ended up getting pushed back to 2002.
Still, though.
But yeah, that's still odd timing for this movie. There was. Let's face it, that whole event kind of screwed a lot of things up. But let me go to you first, Lady Cora. Give me some of your quick thoughts on the Sum of All Fears.
I love this movie. It's fucking fantastic. I love it.
She doesn't mince words. She's quick to the point like that. How about you, Jeremy? Give me some of your quick thoughts on the Sum of All Fears.
Yeah, I agree with that. I had actually not seen this one. I know.
Really?
Yeah. Because I've seen.
So cool.
Yeah, so I've seen, Red October. I forgot about Patriot Games. I've seen that. I've seen Clear and Present Danger, but I had actually not seen this one, so this was a first for me. Yeah, I thought it was pretty fantastic, honestly. And I actually just finished watching it probably I don't know, less than an hour ago. But yeah, this was pretty fun, honestly. It was good pace, and I was not expecting. I was like, yeah, this is usually the typical, oh, we're trying to stop nuclear war. I'm like, oh no, something actually went down and something went boom in Baltimore. I was like, oh my holy crap, we actually went there. we're getting at your throats now, aren't we? Somebody's poking. As I said during the movie, I'm like, somebody's poking both the bears right now, trying to get him in the ring and fight. So, yeah, it was a fun movie.
Yeah, my favorite genre of film has always been the political thriller. I don't really have an explanation as to why. All I know is it just is. It's always been the genre that I've always gotten most wrapped up in. And the Ryan-verse books, yes, they are way better than the movies, but the movies so far have always done a fantastic job of grabbing that intrigue, that not necessarily spycraft. It's not like a James Bond thing, but it's much more political in its intrigue than it is like spy and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, attacking the deeper political, philosophical stuff of these kinds of conflicts is something that has always done great for me in movies. And the Ryan-verse movies have done a very, very good job of that. I can't think of a single Ryan-verse based movie or Tom Clancy Ryan-verse based movie that has not been fantastic for one reason or another. Either the casting, this movie, not with obviously an example of that, the story, the mixture of action and drama. Everything about this movie is kind of perfect. I can't really even. I watched it yesterday, and I've seen it several times, obviously over the course of the last 20-something years since it came out. But it's like I watched it yesterday, kind of examining it, trying to find something that like stood out as being wrong with it, and I couldn't really pick anything out with the exception of a few things that don't really match up to the book because I've read most of the books. But yeah, it's if you're into this kind of stuff, spycraft and political intrigue, this is definitely one of the movies for you. But let's get into it now. Let's talk about the cast of the film. There's I'm sorry. First, I'm sorry. I skipped over something. Let's talk about the director real quick. The resume of Phil Alden Robinson. Not a very long one, but he's been involved in some pretty timeless movies. He did a movie called In the Mood as his first directorial effort in 1987 that I've never heard of, and then follows that up in 1989 with one of the best movies not only to come out of the 80s but possibly the best baseball movie of all times in Field of Dreams.
Sneakers. He's also one of my favorites.
With Sneakers.
Oh,
Freedom Song. I don't remember seeing it, but I remember it coming out. And then of course Sum of All Fears. He's been involved writing for a lot of movies. All of Me back in 1984. Ghost Dad, which I'm pretty sure he wants to forget that one himself. He's always been involved in some of. He was a director of one of the episodes of Band of Brothers, which is maybe the best limited series ever done on television.
HBO, right?
Yeah, and even all the way back to like the old Trapper John MD from the 80s. He was actually a writer on that show as well for a couple of episodes. Albeit not very. Yeah. He was also an uncredited writer in Fletch, which Fletch is
evidently he wrote a lot for that show, The Good Fight, that was on CBS. I didn't ever watch it.
Yeah, if you've never seen Fletch is the first two Fletches with Chevy Chase are fantastic.
Oh, those movies.
The newer one was okay, but it's not great. It's not as good as the originals from the 80s. But I don't know. I'll go to you first, Jeremy. Give me some of your thoughts on the on Phil Alden Robinson's direction of this movie and some of his other works.
Yeah, I would say for direction of this movie, I mean, well done. Just like I said with the last one, the the pace felt pretty good. It kept moving, kept the intensity ramping up as it it felt like you're being saturated by this like tension, like, oh Jesus Christ, who's gonna do what and the next crazy thing, and even though we saw a nuclear bomb explode like maybe 2/3 of the way through this movie, you're still just like, holy shit, and then still trying to pick up the pieces afterward. Like this time something did happen, and it's like now we're still trying to prove that, it's not who they think it was. So yeah, pretty good on this one. As far as other movies, Dylan's I probably have seen are like Field of Dreams. I know about Fletch. That's probably about it. But I mean, those are good movies in their own rights, like we said. So.
Yeah, Lady Cora, how about you? What are some of your thoughts on the job that Phil Alden Robinson did in this, and just kind of his general work overall?
Well, let me put it this way: The Sum of All Fears, Sneakers, and Field of Dreams. Those three movies are my top 100 movies ever. No bullshit. So
nice.
I like the way he directs. Clearly, so especially Sneakers. That movie just Robert Redford, man, just fucking fantastic. This movie I've seen like maybe as many times as you, Frank, is just so pivotal. Even after seeing it so many times, that moment when they first rushed the president out of the stadium, I sat at my desk, and I'm going to talk quieter, but I was not quieter when I said this in my room by myself. I said, if the president's rushed out, why the fuck aren't you running out too? Just saying. But anyways, like if I was there,
you're just gonna stand there like, should we be concerned? Maybe.
Like, yeah. This movie, just loved it. His direction of it is good, and I just can't say enough.
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
I wish he did more.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. The way that he captures, like I said, the balance of political intrigue and drama in this, it was a masterclass in directing for at least this one movie. I mean, ignoring for the moment that he does one of the best maybe the best baseball film ever in Field of Dreams. I mean, that from opening credits to end credits, that movie is phenomenal. Sneakers, also a fantastic movie if you've never seen it. And and Freedom Song, like I said, I remember it coming out. I don't remember ever seeing it, but I remember it getting a lot of buzz and being a movie that was liked by a lot of people. I never saw it, so I can't really speak on it. And he also did The Angriest Man in Brooklyn with Robin Williams, Mila Kunis. I never saw the movie. I remember it coming out, but I never saw it. But I mean, he also, like I said, a writer on All of Me, which is one of the great comedies of the '80s. Let's see. The Chamber, one of the John Grisham novels that got turned into a movie with the late great Gene Hackman and Chris O'Donnell very early on in his career. Faye Dunaway was in that. All kinds of great people. He also, Cora, I don't know if you've ever seen this movie or not. If it's like this would be a movie that you and I would review. I'm pretty sure nobody else in this channel would want to touch it. But Sylvester Stallone has said that in his life, in his career, there's 3 movies he wished he'd never made. One was Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, the one he did with Estelle Getty. The other one was the Driven, the racing movie he did, which I don't get because I actually thought that movie was pretty decent. It's not the best thing he's ever done. It's not Rocky, but I thought it was still a pretty cool movie. The other was a movie he did with Dolly Parton in 1984 called Rhinestone.
Oh, I know that movie.
I swear to God, I have not seen that movie in the aughts. Like, I'm willing to bet the early 90s was probably the last time I watched that movie.
I will not. Yeah.
But I remember like 12 and 13-year-old me and my sister kind of sitting and watching that movie out of boredom.
I love Dolly Parton, so I watched all her movies. 9 to 5 Man.
Yeah, he was
gold.
Yeah, he was responsible for the screenplay of that movie, and it's one of the ones that Sylvester Stallone said he wished he never made. But I got to be honest, it's kind of fun. I've always thought it was kind of a fun movie. I'm not even sure where I'd possibly be able to find it, but yeah, I mean, he also, like I said, he also directed an episode of Band of Brothers. It's just one episode. He was nominated amongst all the directors of that series for some awards for the Emmys, which he actually won, by the way, him and the rest of the directors. Nice. There is not a single episode of that is not phenomenal. I mean, every episode in that, not one of them misses, not even a little bit.
Yeah,
there's so much more than it's so much more than a war story. It's like I cannot possibly gush enough over that series. I've watched it from first episode to last probably about 10 times.
I haven't watched it in years. I need to rewatch it. Have you ever done a review by episodes?
I have not, and I
should do that.
I could be willing to do that. It's 20-something years old. I mean, maybe after we get done, because we've got Last of Us coming up, and that's going to suck up a lot of space for the next 6 or 8 weeks. So maybe we could do something like that. I wouldn't be against it because it's a fantastic show. I no joke have watched it from first episode to last no less than 10 times. And there's been some Saturdays where I just woke up early and I'm here at the house to myself all day. Band of Brothers episode 1, and by the time I go to bed, I've watched all 8 or 10 episodes, whatever it is. It's that good that I just don't stop watching it. But he also was a contributing writer for Trapper John MD, which I've been trying to find this somewhere. It's a spin-off of not the MASH TV show, but of the MASH movie that came out in 1970. It's got kind of its own story, but it's Trapper John.
I didn't even know there was a movie.
I didn't either. Yeah,
the movie MASH. Oh, we'll review that.
Yeah.
That.
Well, no, I know the movie MASH, but I didn't know that there was a.
I knew the TV show. I've seen every episode 20 times. My grandparents had that one reruns on the TV every day.
Yeah,
I watched a lot of MASH too.
Yeah, there's definitely a story behind the connection to Trapper John MD and the other MASH stuff that ended up in a lawsuit. That's kind of a whole story in and of itself. But yeah, we can go into that if we were talking about the movie. But
also, I don't know if Cora knows this, but I did get to meet Jamie Farr and.
Oh, really?
Margaret Houlihan. Yeah, I got to meet them at a con,
That's
and I know
cool.
He's got pictures.
I know Frank
to
is.
prove it.
I do have a picture. I'm like, I can send it to you later, but
Did she age well?
Oh yeah, dude.
Well, they're both in their 90s. I mean, at that point, who cares?
Well, but I'm like, look, I was gushing so hard that she even just put her arm around me, and I'm just like, oh my god.
For the time, she was a sex pot. I mean, let's be honest.
Look, she can still get it. She looked really good, and look, I got a fist bump from Klinger on my way out, so that was
nice.
Cool. Like, because I came in my cosplay, I had an AK-47 for my character, and the guy was the other guy that was there was I think the guy that played the cook.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was the three of them. He came in and he pointed at Jamie. He said, "Hey, don't mess with this guy, man. He's got a gun." And I was like, he would kick my ass in a dress and still look good doing it. So he thought that was awesome. I wouldn't mess with this guy. No, I'm telling you. Yeah.
But yeah, a fantastic job directing. Like I said, I'm with Cora. I don't know why Phil Alden Robinson doesn't have a bigger resume. He's been attached to some great stuff. I don't know why he hasn't gotten more. I mean, he's won some awards, but I mean, he directed Field of Dreams. You figured that on your resume alone would open up some doors for you, and then Sneakers, and then this movie. You figure that over the course of 12, 13 years doing Field of Dreams, Sneakers, and this, but then he's did one other movie in 2014 and just nothing. I don't know if he just walked away from the industry or what, but there's not really much. As far as what it does say that he's currently vice president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences.
Oh, he's probably pretty busy.
So I'm sure that
might still be in there.
I mean, he's got some boardships and stuff like that. But I mean, I assume that as a creative, he would probably want to get out there and create. But whatever. If he's happy in life, I'm fine. I'm just glad that he gave us the things that we gave him. And yes, BJ Radar was the only person to start in the movie and the show. There's actually one other person that was in both. But he's only got there's only one episode that he was in, and it was some kind of a side character. He's got dialogue in one scene, and that's it. Other than that, I think that, that's pretty much the only one. And of course, he was the only one to get, he didn't quite get his own spin-off. He got the Walter that ended up getting a separate. You can actually go watch the Walter episode that was supposed to be like the pilot episode for his own TV show. You can actually go watch it on YouTube.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason it didn't get picked up. It wasn't all that exciting, but it was still kind of fun to watch him after the war. But in short, a fantastic dressing job by Phil Alden Robinson in this film. Again, the balance of drama and political intrigue, and the little bit of spycraft that's in there, especially when John Clark comes into the picture, was fantastic. But now let's take a second to talk about the cast. And again, it's just loaded with people that. I mean, Ben Affleck was kind of young, but he was already kind of on the rise then. So many people that were already stars. Morgan Freeman, Cromwell, a bunch of people. I'll go to you first, Jeremy. What do you think of the cast of the film, and who stood out to you the most?
You're going to kill me with these Tom Clancy movies because, man, they don't miss with these castings. I'm telling you. It's getting hard to choose one person because, like I said on the last one, man, they all bring their A game, and it's such a hard choice. Like, obviously, right there you got Morgan Freeman, which, I mean, I don't need to say much more than it's Morgan Freeman. And yeah, I was gonna say, I think Ben Affleck was kind of hitting his strides by this point, right? Like, this is what, 2002. So. When was Daredevil? Like 2003? Like right after this?
Something like that. Yeah, I think at this point he had already done Good Will Hunting because that was like late 90s, right?
Right.
Let me go look to make sure.
And I mean, obviously, you and me, the reason we're friends is because of a little guy named Silent Bob. So I know all that already happened. So like Chasing Amy and all that. Yeah, I don't know. This was definitely a hard one. I don't know. It's like, I don't want to just like give in and say like, yeah, obviously Morgan Freeman, because he was kind of integral to the start of it. But I was like, man, and again, I hadn't seen this.
It was more like an ensemble focus than a singular focus, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like I said, and then when it got to like, I was like, man, you really killed off Morgan Freeman's character. God damn it, like that hurt, man. Like, it's like he played his part, and he kind of just, as he's dying, he whispers it off to Ben Affleck, like, "Hey, man, like, go take care of this shit." Like, you got it. Kind of like a mentor passing it off to the new guy. I may have to cave and just say Morgan Freeman. I don't know. I will. You know what? I will admit, like when I was talking about the tension ramping up and just keeping going, I will say that James Cromwell as the president, like you could tell there's that frustration and there's a lot of fucking intensity with that guy. I mean, given the fact that he did just hightail it out of a football stadium and damn near got rolled by a nuclear strike and lived. So I mean, that's enough to irk anyone's day. I mean, I get it. But yeah, I think he really sold it with being the president. That's who I chose my quote from. It's a pretty poignant line. He turns around, he's like, "There's too much goddamn bullshit." And he's kind of back to himself, like, and not enough fact. Like you can tell he's frustrated. But as for his performance, I mean, that'll do, pig. That'll do.
Yeah, I'm looking through Ben Affleck's filmography. And he was already pretty big when this happened. He was an extra in Field of Dreams. I just now saw that.
Oh, that's fine.
He was in the movie School Ties, which is a fantastic movie that we should one day review. He was uncredited in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, not the TV show. He of course played O'Bannon in Dazed and Confused. That's the earliest that I remembered seeing him until I remembered something else. And of course Mallrats before that. Chasing Amy before that. Good Will Hunting in '97 came out the same year. Shakespeare in Love, Phantoms. You was the bomb in Phantoms, Joe. Then Armageddon came out that year as well. Then Dogma. At this point, he's already kind of a big name. Forces of Nature, that love movie that he did with Sandra Bullock.
I like how you skipped right over Gigli, amazing piece of work.
Everybody else does. 200 Cigarettes, which I remember
we all forgot about that.
Coming out. Bounce, Reindeer Games, Boiler Room, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. And then Pearl Harbor. We'll talk. There's a slight connection to Pearl Harbor in this. We'll talk about it a little bit. And then he did Changing Lanes, which was a fantastic movie. Him and Samuel L. Jackson, which I saw that when I saw it in theaters when it first came out. It was a pretty tense modern drama. And then of course this movie, and then on and on and on. Then Daredevil, then Gigli, and then Paycheck.
Gigli,
yeah, that stupid movie that I.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, but yeah, so he was definitely already kind of at his nearing his peak, at least well on his way. But Lady Cora, how about you? What did you think of the cast of the film, and who stood out to you the most?
Well, mine's gonna be a little different. I would say I have two answers. One is the CIA team that worked with Ryan in general, the lady who is pregnant and the nerdy guy with the glasses. That team, I think, was really great because they're throughout the whole movie. I love that dynamic. And then the guy who played Nemerov, the guy, Ciaran Hinds. He is Irish. I probably said his name wrong. Whatever. I've seen him in a couple movies. He's been in Game of Thrones. He played Dumbledore in one of the Harry Potter movies. He is a great actor, and I loved seeing him in this again. Yeah, I really liked him. I wish he had more screen time, but I get, the whole pace of this movie. There's only so much, you can do. But yes, yeah, he stood out to me because, what a shitty position to be put in, that character.
Yeah.
First you get pulled up in the first place, and then somebody tries to plant this shit on you to make World War III happen. Yeah. So between him and Cromwell, it just felt so real, the leadership, and yeah. His character and that actor in general is the one I'm gonna stick with. Yep.
Liev Schreiber was also cool, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Forgot about him. Yeah.
But this cast so good. James Cromwell, I know he's kind of a liberal environmentalist and nut job. He's one of those people that glues himself to the counter at Starbucks to protest.
Again, actors should just act and have personal lives.
Whatever. Do what you're gonna do. I just think there's support what you're gonna support. If you're passionate about it, then go for it.
Yeah.
Just gluing yourself to things is kind of weird. But God, he is so good.
He's good.
Jeremy, have you ever seen National Lampoon's Blackball? It's one of the stupid National Lampoon comedies that came out in the early 2000s.
I don't think I've seen that one. No.
We'll have to watch that one day. It's
okay.
Basically, it's you know what British bowling is, like lawn bowling.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's basically like the best bowler in the world. And then there's this,
Okay.
and then there's this young British guy who is kind of like Russell Brand. He's just kind of like everywhere and goofy, and he kind of comes onto the scene and kind of upsets the dignified lawn bowling that he is so good at. And it's from that stupid comedic. It's a National Lampoon's movie. That should really be all you need to know about it to give you an idea of what it is. But it's like from that to playing the president multiple times to playing serious roles multiple times, the guy's range is just sickeningly good. I mean, He's good at everything. Two characters I want to point out, and one has already been mentioned, is Syrian Hines. He is just so damn good in this movie. Again, kind of early, and Rodrigo Maggio on the chat says Syrian Hines, great Russian. I agree. He does steal a few scenes in this movie, especially towards the end when the color palettes of the movie gets really, really dark, as we're like basically seconds away from a nuclear exchange between the United States and Russia.
Oh my God.
It's like, dude, the tension on his face was staggeringly good. The other one who I want to bring attention to, not because she was necessarily significant in the movie, which she kind of is. This character is Mary Pat. She is a very, very important character in the Ryanverse books. I don't know how many of them anybody's out there has read.
I've read a couple of them.
She actually becomes the director of Central Intelligence after Ryan becomes president and moves his way up. Stuff like she actually becomes the director of Central Intelligence. She's like integral part of the books from very early on in the series up until Jack Ryan Sr. Eventually, Jack Jr. kind of takes his place in the books. But as Jack Ryan Sr. is president, she is one of his primary confidants. And so to see her play a big role in this movie was fantastic. And I've always been kind of bothered that maybe not that this version of Mary Pat or this actress, but just like the character as a whole has never been given the love in the movies I think it deserves. Because she is integral to the books. If you read all the ones before Jack Jr. takes over, up to Tiger, what's the name of the book? I forget. But like up to the point where Jack Jr. kind of takes his dad's role as the main protagonist of the series. Like she is right there as one of the primary 2 or 3 people surrounding Jack Ryan that saves the world every book. You know what I mean? She is integral, and I thought the job she did was fantastic, especially towards the end, because she plays off like she's going to be a very unimportant character early in the movie. Stupid things like when they're watching the news report about the Russian president before he dies and blah blah blah. The jokes that are flying around the CIA office. To like as everything's popping off, she's one of the cogs in that tension that is building right up until the climax finally happens. Another one I would point out is Liv Schreiber. Again, somebody who is integral to the books, and up until this last movie that came out when they redid Without Remorse on Amazon, which I think is a very good movie. My dad wasn't fond of it, but I kept trying to explain to him that you can't just make him a Vietnam veteran every time you make him in a movie because he'd have to be 180 years old. Right. But he plays a great John Clark. And John Clark, if there is somebody more important than Mary Pat to the Jack Ryan evolution, it's this guy right here. He is... I actually, there's a book in the Ryanverse that is kind of set aside. It doesn't have Jack Ryan in it, but it's definitely a part of all that goes on. It's called Rainbow Six. Jeremy, you know the game.
But yeah, I was gonna say that. See, this is why I wish you were here yesterday, because I'm like,
I know
I could talk about the video games. And we were like, well, which one of these should we maybe bring to the screen? I was like, Rainbow Six would be fun. That's a classic.
The video game is not. The video game was good. I like playing the video game when it first came out.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It was early generation shooter, so I think SOCOM.
Yeah,
when SOCOM first came out.
Yeah,
it's not what Call of Duty has become. But not even really Fortnite for that matter. It's really graphics aren't great, still clunky, but that book is phenomenal. That's by far my favorite book of the Ryanverse.
Because I'm like, they just recently, the most recent game that came out was like 2022 for Rainbow Six. Like I said, it's still a juggernaut of like gaming, and I was like, I know that's a pretty integral part of this Tom Clancy verse. I'm like, that would be really cool to see something like that be brought to screen too. Yeah.
All I'll say is, if you've never read the book, read it. And if they ever did, they've been on the verge of making that book into a movie for a long, long time, for probably something close to like 20 years. And
somewhere around here, I do actually own the original game, like the 1998 Rainbow Six. It's
and there's a scene in the book that if they ever made the movie, I know they would never film this scene. They wouldn't even block it out. But I think it would set the movie off at an amusement park when the kids are taken hostage. I'm going to make you read the book to get to that point if you're interested. But that scene would be integral to making that movie hit hard. They would never film it.
Oh.
They would never even think of putting it in the script. Because, yes, a child dies. But, God,
well,
it's so good. And
there's a reason why they won't do Call of Duty, at least Modern Warfare 2, because I'm like, I don't think they're going to do No Russian. I don't care how...
Scene, that particular
Yeah,
scene.
they're not going to do No Russian like any... I don't care. Like, that game came out closer to 9/11 than we are now, but I'm like, you would still not want to do that shit. That is some balls to the wall shit for only being like, what, the third mission in the game? If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, because holy crap. That sets a tone.
I definitely don't know what you're talking about. But I'm just gonna say
If
cool.
you just look up No Russian on
you gotta get
YouTube,
deep into some shit.
within about the first 30 seconds, it starts off right with the mission. Like, you'll know exactly why it's not okay and why that won't be put on screen.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. They give you an option in the game to skip that because it's not integral. You're not going to miss anything by missing it. I'm like, yeah, you do. Because what happens at the end of it kind of sets the whole thing off. But whatever, semantics, I guess in lines of dialogue you can explain it. But yeah, just look up No Russian.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's one of the scenes in.
It makes me feel uncomfortable. Like,
oh yeah, that scene.
I've probably committed war crimes in video games, but I'm just saying that still felt fucked up, and that felt really wrong.
But another thing I want to point out is I always say movies are usually only as good as their villain, and for a guy who doesn't get a great deal of screen time, Alan Bates as Dressler, he does embody kind of the. He is that behind-the-scenes, maniacal, you wouldn't know it if you met him at the coffee shop, kind of evil. It's like he's really only in about 2 or 3 key scenes in the entire movie, but man, he is obviously the one who is driving this whole thing, and when he's on camera, I think he does fantastic. He's got a great bad guy look about him. Mm-hmm. You know, he doesn't have to have he doesn't need to be dressed in all black, and he doesn't need to look so evil. He's just a guy, and I think that when you first see him in the movie, when he's making that video, and he's laying out kind of his ideas, you know exactly what he's about from the jump. So every time you see him later on in the movie, he is clearly the bad guy. Even when he's kind of making joking little references, like he holds up a cigarette, he's like, they keep saying these things will kill me. It's like he says this in a way that's so menacing. It sounds so different. Everything he says sounds different. It carries a little more weight because of watching that video, with him making that video at the beginning of the movie. But yeah, overall, just a lot of fantastic acting all over the place. There's not one performance that brings any of this down. It's all just so terribly good. Said. But let's talk about the plot of the film now. Again, it had to be altered a lot from the book for a couple of reasons. For those of you who are familiar with the book, it's pretty clear why, for a couple of reasons. One, because again, this was filming. I think this started filming shortly after or right before 9/11. So it was a lot. Now they were going to change a few things from the book anyway because for reasons that didn't have anything to do with that. But once that event happened, then they were like, okay, we definitely need to alter a few things. So there were some differences from the book, but ultimately I thought the plot was fantastic. It worked in certain aspects of actual history to the situation that's happening in the book. Most notably the Yom Kippur War and things like that in the beginning of the film. That's what they're showing. I don't know. I'll go to you first, Lady Cora. The plot of the movie, did it work for you, or is there anything you would have changed?
Fuck yes and no. Even just, they know when to keep something brief. They know when to let some things, stretch out. They know when to just assume the viewers are following it, and then they know when to give you a little bit extra. I mean, it just moves well. They've put a lot of plot in a very short movie time, and they did it very well.
How about you, Jay? Give me some of your thoughts on the plot of the movie. Did it work for you, or is there anything you might have twisted around a little bit?
No, like I said, it kept going, like she said too, it kept going at a pace that, again, kept your interest and your intrigue, and it kept, it kept upping the tension. And like I said, even to a point where a nuclear bomb goes off, and then it still keeps going, like, it keeps going after that, like the aftermath and the, wait for the snare drum, fallout of said bomb. Oh, come on. I was waiting for that one.
It was good.
I mean, what comes out next month, guys? Season 2 of Fallout. I mean, it's a good segue.
It's an early segue, but it'll check out.
Last of Us.
Whatever. Fallout's coming out anyway. Shut up.
I'm excited. That's a different apocalypse.
I had too much Fallout in my mind on this because I was kind of like,
You know, guys, it's not the explosion that's the problem.
it's the immediate after that's the problem. And I want to be a little nitpicky. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like an EMP, and all electronics get fried like that. I'm like, whatever. He BS'd Ben Affleck BS'd a thing out of the helicopter or radio to get contact.
Well,
I'm
it's
like,
secret. It's secret military technology. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
Yeah.
Yes,
Because
know,
anyone
it
who tells
works.
you something is military grade is definitely lying to you when they say it's top notch. Yeah, ask any of them.
We're gonna talk about something called ice piss later on.
Yeah, I was like, whatever, just stuff that it kept the plot moving. I was like, I'm willing to look over that. I don't care. Like, sure.
And it's like, yeah, there's obviously just a few nitpicky things, but I would still say this was pretty fantastic. I don't really know what I would change about it. Like I said,
It built up to a good climax, and we were all friends in the end. And then Liev Schreiber cut that dude's throat, and he deserved it. When he's sitting there in his little whatever big house, just because that's like just a pinnacle of like a bad guy. He's just sitting there just jamming out to his Italian opera, just having his good time. Like, I want someone to walk in there right now and shoot him in the fucking head. And then a knife around his neck. I'm like,
and here comes Johnny Clark to give you your wish.
Right. And then slice, and it's Liev Schreiber. I'm like, oh my god, thank you. That was awesome. And it's like Cora said, I'm like, I don't need to see how it happened. I don't need to have it explained. I'm like, whatever, he got him. That's all I care about. And and like it keeps going in a way that it's like, it's not like overly complicated. We're like, yeah, you understand what's going on. Like, yes, big bad bomb coming. All right, so what do we do about that? Well, we try to actually, nuke ourselves over 5 times. Good idea. How do we do that? I mean, it's,
but still keeps the tension going. So
I'm not Tom Clancy, so I don't know what I could write differently. So.
Yeah, I look at it a bit differently because I did read most of the books up to this point.
Nerd.
Hey, my dad was a big fan of the Ryan verse. Clancy was one of his favorite writers. So
no, that's fair. I would rather you be here because you were more steeped in this than even me. So
the last two books that were Jack Ryan Sr. was the one in charge, and the first couple of books because before Clancy passed away, he had kind of like given writing duties over to somebody that he knew. So he was like co-writing with somebody else. And those first couple of books, those are the ones that like I would go, like me or my dad would go buy it, we'd read it, and then as soon as we were done, we'd hand it off to the other one so the other one could read it.
Mm-hmm.
So we were both kind of up to date. But and I'm a couple books behind now because I haven't read much of anything for the last couple of years. But yeah, knowing what I knew about the universe, it's like, especially when I watch these movies, they're all pretty faithful about keeping the general plot pretty close, or at least cinematically as accurate as you can be. Because I've said it 100 times, when you turn a book into a movie, you're talking about a different medium, so you can't always leave things in the book that are integral. You can't always bring them over to the movie because you don't always have time. I mean, because if you actually used a book as a script to a movie, every movie would be 10 hours long. It's not feasible, so you have to cut out some things. Like the Harry Potter book cut out a lot of things from the movie that were in the book that I thought would have been great to see on screen.
Whole characters didn't exist.
Whole characters, whole moments that I think were very important to the story's progression. But I mean that's not just Harry Potter. That's something that happens in every book that you take to a movie. But
don't worry, as Jeremy and I mentioned, HBO or whoever's doing is going to fuck it up also with whatever they're doing with Harry Potter.
Yeah, like when they got the ball of Game of Thrones.
I'm willing to give that. I'm willing to give it a shot. I mean, whatever. But that'll come out when it comes out. We'll see when it comes out. But while there are a couple of things that weren't exactly true to the book, I think it worked out great for the for the movie version. And Dr. Nick says, "Holy shit, they're about comic books." Well, comic books have always been very different. When they try to stay too faithful to comic books, is where the live action stuff usually goes way wrong. That's why Marvel's done it the way they've done it. But Let's see. Worst book film adaptation, hands down, Bonfire of the Vanities. I have not read the book. I remember seeing the movie a million years ago, but I've not read the book. But yeah, I thought he did a great job of taking the spirit and everything that was important about all the notes he needed to hit for the story and putting them in the visual medium. I thought it was a fantastic job what they did with it. There were some things that were very different from the book. For one, in the book, it was Islamic terrorists that were doing this thing. They changed it to neo-Nazis because, I think before 9/11, they were starting to get some blowback from Islam groups in the United States because of portraying them as evil, blah, blah, blah. And then 9/11 happened while they were in production or filming or whatever, and they were like, oh, okay, so maybe we're just going to not have Muslims in this at all because it's kind of a touchy time right now, so let's just not attach our horses to that wagon at all because we don't really know how that's going to play out right now. But I think it actually worked out really, really well because... modern day, especially since 9/11, it's so easy to make the bad guy of a terrorist movie Islamic. It's so easy because that's what's first and foremost on everybody's mind. So that's just kind of where your mind automatically goes. To go back to Nazis at this time, neo-Nazis I think it actually made the plot a little bit better. Because it felt like it was just same old when you were making Islamists the bad guys in any movie from 2001 or 2002 up till now. Making the Islamists the bad guys was just lazy. I always thought. I kind of understood it because it was like, that's the big bad right now that we all see in the world. But you still got to spread it out a little bit. Make the bad guys unique, or they're going to become kind of silly. But I'm glad that they actually brought back the Nazis because look, we've said it 100 times.
Can I quote you on that? I'm really glad they brought back the Nazis. It's a really great standalone sentence.
Whatever. Clip that shit, TSS. They can have it. But if you think about it, we've said it 100 times. When was Indiana Jones at his best? When he was fighting the Nazis. Every time they got away from the Nazis is when the movies failed. It's like, or didn't do as good. So I mean, I really like what he did with it. I mean, like I said, it's the bad guy is more important than the group that he belongs to, and the bad guys in this were actually really, really good. So you could have made them, whatever. You could have made them IRA because it's been a while since Irish Republican Army's been in the news, right? Since the late 80s. So you could have made them IRA, and it probably would have worked out just fine. But let's talk about kind of the general place in the Ryan-verse for this film. There's been several films from the Ryan-verse books, from the Clancy books, have been made into films. They don't all necessarily belong in the same canon, but where do you think this film fits in, kind of as a ranking? Where would you put it with the rest of the stuff? I'll go to you first, Jeremy.
Like how
well it stacks up against the other ones?
Yeah, I mean, if you had to rank them amongst all the stuff that you've seen from the Tom Clancy universe, where would it rank for you? In between what other things?
It's the first time I watched. My first time. Be gentle, Jesus. Like I've seen like 2 others after this. I thought you meant like canon wise. I was like, it seems like he's a little younger, so he's not. I would have said like this might be like
more early-ish if you're trying to make it string together,
and then probably into like the Alec Baldwin stuff. And that, well, I don't know. Then some Harrison Ford. Man, so you're asking me to put him against like Harrison Ford and Alec Baldwin. So
well, think about the stories, not so much the actors.
Yeah. Well, I'm just like, I mean,
go that way.
Yeah, because I'm like, that's your main. You're trying to portray this character, and these
3 different guys have done it, not necessarily 3 different ways, but
I think I noticed something that is similar with this in like Red October. Just having more recently seen them now, it's like that the plot is kind of the same in a way that it's this thing is happening. We think it's them, and court of public opinion's all like, yes, it is definitely these Russians, or yes, it's definitely well, actually both ways. It's these Russians, and then there's this one guy, Jack Ryan, who's like, well, no, how do you know that? I don't know. And I'm like, it's kind of the same, like he somehow just really knows. And it's like, he does make mistakes even when they call something out. And he was like, yeah, that was totally wrong. Or like Alec Baldwin said, like, nope, I didn't know he was going to turn starboard. It was a guess. I'm like, do you like actually know, dude? Jesus, you're scaring me a little bit. You came in there with all the confidence in the world. And you're like, yeah, that was a guess. But I mean, it's kind of it works for his character.
Yeah, Stewart does point out that there have technically been 5 different Jack Ryans, not 3. but
I meant that I've seen.
I'm just talking about the ones that he's seen. Because
Scott Bakula did one, I think.
Yeah, because I'm like, there's John Krasinski as well, which I haven't seen any of that. I meant like the ones that I've seen personally. So that's what I'm bouncing against. I would say like Red October, like we did before, was pretty tense. Which was cool. I think this one edges that one out a little bit more because I was, again, for the first time seeing it, I was not expecting like something to actually, and I mean actually happen, as in like a bomb actually detonate in the middle of Baltimore. I was like, oh my good God, wow. So like shit hit the fan pretty hard in this movie, and I was surprised to have seen something like that on that kind of scale happen. So yeah, this one, it was like not that they were too late to stop something. Because at least with like Red October, they at least managed to kind of, figure it out and make sure things didn't go off the rails completely. It's like in this movie, you had Russia and the U.S. actually attacking each other, still just prodding, not quite like just full on trying to annihilate each other. But it was like, well, we have to do something, but not something to the, like a full scale global war. So, yeah, this one was pretty cool. I would put this one above like Red October. God, I gotta go rewatch Patriot Games and
Clear and Present Danger.
You're gonna Clear and Present Danger. You're gonna put me down a rabbit hole, Frank.
You know what? In thinking
I'm gonna
about
start
it,
playing the games again.
Thinking about it, I really want to do like the rest of the Ryan movies, including the remake Without Remorse with Michael B. Jordan, which I think is a very good movie.
It's on Prime, I think.
Oh yeah, it was made for Prime, but it also has a post-credit scene where it alludes to Rainbow, which is Rainbow Six.
That's cool.
Marvel
style.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, I fangirled for a minute. I was like, oh no, please give me that.
Can you go change your pants?
Because that's the movie I've wanted for years.
Should have worn my white pants.
My special sock was filled, man.
Get your special sock. It's gonna get good.
Special sock shot across the room.
I did a new pack of Hanes. Stat.
I am here, gentlemen. Girl in the call.
Yeah, but you're laughing at it too, so it's not all bad.
Frank just likes the way they cushion the soles of his feet. That's all I'm saying.
I really do.
Oh my God. You made me snort on the fucking show, you two. God damn it.
Success.
Cora, I don't know which one of these you've seen, but I mean, for the ones that you've seen, where does not just Ben Affleck's performance,
it's my favorite.
Kind of like this movie kind of rate?
It's my favorite. A Hunt for Red October is a close second, but yeah, sure, I like the ones with Harrison Ford, but this one, I just, like I told you, it's up there, and I love it. It's just, and it gets me every time. I know what's going to happen, but I'm still like, ah! When it happens. So there's only a handful of movies for each person, I think, that get you like the first time every time you watch it, and this is one of those for me.
Yeah, at least it's good that Harrison Ford wasn't in this one, because I'm like, yeah, helicopter. It looks like a lot like a refrigerator.
Oh no!
That'll make sense in about 7 years. Whew, dodgy bullet there, dude.
Do you remember? I'm having a squirrel moment, so just prepare yourself. I remember when I watched that Indiana Jones movie, and when he first thought, he was like, "Oh, I found people. This is great. There's streets and houses. I'm gonna get some help." And then he slowly realizes, no,
this
fuck.
is not where I want to be
I'm
right
fucked. I'm fucked. And and I want to know how they made a refrigerator look normal. Maybe they did 2 pans with a camera in the kitchen, normal size, but then actually have it be big enough for him to get in. So, there were 2 different refrigerators. Like, in Fast and the Furious, when they didn't actually get the cars under the semis, so movie magic.
He pulled all the shelves out and all that and whatnot, but
how do you pull a fridge door shut from the inside? They're not.
When a nuclear bomb is about to go off, I think you get some fucking adrenaline going.
He wasn't going to run away from that one. He only really had one option. It just happened to work. But you're not
Somehow.
you're not the only one that finds that funny, because they actually started a website called nukethefridge.com after that. So
Oh yeah,
That's
nicking the
great.
fridge, jumping the shark. That's we all have this in our
Yeah.
vocabulary now.
Oh yeah, it's
Even
part of the
Fallout New
lexicon.
Vegas. Fallout New Vegas made the joke in their game. If the first town you start out in, if you walk out just a little bit once you start on your journey, right on the road, on the side of the road, there is a fridge with a skeleton, and he's wearing a fedora. Kid you not. They even
That's
had to take a
great.
jab at it. It's so funny.
Stuart says, "Who's your favorite Kathy Ryan? Don't say Keira Knightley." I won't. Oh,
I don't know.
I
We got
guess
Bridget
Bridget
Moynihan
Moynihan
this
from
one.
this movie.
Yeah.
You don't really get a lot of Kathy. You don't really get a lot of Kathy Ryan in the. You don't really get a lot of it in the movies. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other movie where she's even significant, but she's just not.
At first, I thought she was a secretary. She's passing up papers. She's pregnant. She's probably have to go on maternity leave. If you're just watching the movies, So.
No, don't you mean the
No, that was Mary
girlfriend?
Pat. Kathy is
Oh, I'm
Bridget
getting names
Moynihan's
mixed
character.
up.
Yeah, the girlfriend.
Kathy is
Oh.
his girlfriend, Bridget Moynihan's character.
As long as she's pretty and she smiles nice, does anybody care? I mean, she's just a
Well,
girlfriend.
she's very significant in the books. I mean,
But in
she's
this
not-
movie, she's not at all.
In this movie, she is. She's not significant in any other movie, which is always kind of annoying.
She's
Like
always
Hunt for
like
Red
the star
October, Gates McFadden plays her in the Hunt for Red October. She was supposed to actually have a bigger role, but she got her role in that movie got cut down a lot. But yeah, she's not really in any other movie that Jack Ryan is in. Well, who plays her in the? Damn it, who plays her in the other movie, in the movies with Harrison Ford? Damn it. I'm drawing a blank. I gotta find one of these movies and find out. Let's see. Ryan versus novels? No, it's not gonna tell me. I gotta find Patriot Games.
Yeah, so
Ann Archer. Ann Archer is the one that plays her in the Harrison Ford movies. And it's been a while since I've seen any of those movies. I'll have to go back and watch them again. But yeah, she's probably more of a significant character in those. But yeah, I would say between her and Ann Archer right now. Yeah, Stuart finally got it for me in the chat. Ann Archer is the one. That
Okay.
But I'd have to go back and rewatch the ones with Harrison Ford to kind of compare them. But right now, it's definitely Bridget Moynihan. But yeah, I mean, where does it fit in the Ryan verse? For me, I think Hunt for Red October is my favorite Jack Ryan anything that has been made on television, or on live action rather, not television. A close second is this one, and then pretty much my microphone just fell off my shirt.
Uh-oh.
And then pretty close after that is all the Harrison Ford stuff, and then after that, I mean, look. John Krasinski plays a pretty good version of him. Chris Pine plays a pretty good version of him, but not anywhere close to what Affleck, Ford, and Baldwin did. It's
fair.
still. I mean, the John Krasinski stuff. It's just the 2 years that he was on. What was it the Jack Ryan? Chris Pine played him in Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit, which was kind of it's even like pre-Ben Affleck era when he's still in college. Actually, in that movie, he's actually in college when 9/11 happens, and that's one of the things that promotes him to join the military. Yeah, in the beginning of the movie, he's walking through like the library at his college, and and 9/11 is being shown on the screen as it's happening live.
Damn.
So it promotes him to join the Marines, and then his career starts from there.
Yeah. Okay.
But that was a total reboot, though. So he's actually a younger version than we get from Ben Affleck. But
Okay.
yeah, as far as and honestly, it's like he's not. It's actually John Clark that is the driving force behind Without Remorse. So I don't know if I can really put that in there, because I really did like Without Remorse. It's a really good movie. Different. It's the most modern version of anything. Well, except for the John Krasinski stuff. It's the most modern movie that we've ever gotten about any of the stuff in the Ryan verse. But I don't know, all of them have been very good. That's the important thing to remember, is they've all been very, very good. But let's get into a little bit of the trivia now, and I've got plenty. There was a bunch in there. They weren't all good, but there was plenty. Let's see. When Ben Affleck first arrived on set, he told director Phil Alden Robinson, he goes, "Nice working with you again. Robinson looked at him and said, "What the hell do you mean again?" Affleck had to explain to him that when Robinson was filming the scene in Boston's Fenway Park for Field of Dreams in 1989, that he and Matt Damon were amongst the thousands of extras who were in the stadium for that scene.
Nice.
He was just like, again, who the hell are you?
Right. No, you kid. No.
I'm gonna date myself really, really badly here. Do you guys know that he was actually a child star, Ben Affleck was?
Yeah, I'd heard that somewhere.
He was on a PBS show called The Voyage of the Mimi, which I had to watch in school in 1985-ish.
Was he good?
He was 11. Who's good at anything at 11? But
he was 11.
Hey, at 11, I fell in love with Anderson Cooper on Channel 1. This thing they did in elementary school, the elementary middle schools, okay?
I'm so glad I'm not the only one who knows what that is. Thank you.
I remember what it is. That was starting when I was in high school. But,
okay, because I'm like, I remember having to watch that shit, too.
I had the really early version of it that was terrible. But it
was still terrible, I'll tell you now.
The guy that owns the boat, the Mimi, it's a PBS show about them like studying whales or something like that. But the old guy that owns the boat, he's his nephew or grandson, and he's on like 2 or 3 episodes of that. And I read that once when I was years ago, and I was looking through his filmography, and I was like, "There's no way he was in that." And I haven't watched this since 1980, whatever. So I had no memory of this. I had to actually go search YouTube for a little while and find clips of him on the show, and I was like, "Holy shit, that is exactly the show I remember watching." And I do not remember Ben Affleck being in it, because to me, the first thing I remembered seeing Ben Affleck in was Dazed and Confused. Dazed and Confused, and then I remembered him being in School Ties when I watched that movie later. So it's like that was my earliest memories of seeing Ben Affleck in anything. But totally forgetting that when I was 9 years old, I watched this fucking thing on television.
You wouldn't have remembered.
I would not have remembered that.
You wouldn't know who's that kid. Like,
without some help, I would never have remembered that. But it was pretty cool though. Like I said, he's all of 11 years old. he's not very old at all in that show anyway. But let's see, Syrian Hines, who plays President Nemerov, who did not previously speak a word of Russian, learned all of his large chunks of Russian dialogue in 2 weeks before filming.
That's
impressive
badass.
memory.
That is not an easy language, from what I've heard.
And also, yeah,
And
Russian's kind of hard.
You can't pass the accent off unless you really are good at it either. But he is Irish, so he's probably, good with accents. Because if he has to do a non-Irish accent, he's used to adapting his voice to not sound Irish. So,
like Gaelic's not exactly easy.
You know what, Cora? A show that I think you'll be into was before Sebastian Stan got really popular, like early in his career, before Winter Soldier and Marvel fame. There was a TV show that came out called Political Animals. I don't know if you ever watched it or not.
I think I did. Now that you say that,
he played Sigourney Weaver was in it. Played his ex-wife.
Yes. That was a good show.
He played the former president. They are basically the Clintons.
Wasn't it cut short? They stopped it and didn't finish it.
Well, it was a limited series to begin with. So
yes.
I think the idea was they were going to have this. I think it was like 5-6 episodes, and then if it did well, they were going to pick it up the series on either USA or TBS. I forget. And I watched it, and I was like, "Yeah, I know they're the Clintons. She was obviously an allegory, allegory of Hillary. He was obviously an allegory of Bill. Not, to the point where they were divorced, and they got divorced because of his infidelities. They could not.
I forgot he was in it, but I had seen it.
They may well have just played the Clintons. Why they gave them different names, I have no idea. But they may as well just played the Clintons. And Sebastian Stan is their gay son that has problems with drugs and whatever, and then the other son is her chief of staff. She's the Secretary of State. She's mad at the president for something or other. And in the last episode of the series, Air Force One crashes right as she is getting ready to resign, and then weirdness, and that was supposed to be like the cliffhanger that was supposed to lead into the actual series, but it didn't get picked up. But it was interesting to watch, even though they're basically just an allegory of the Clintons. But anyway, he plays the former president in that. And even down to the southern accent, he is Bill Clinton. But he was very good in it, even though I think it was kind of comical that whole series was kind of the setup. But and Sebastian Stan was very good in Tommy and Pam and Tommy, especially the scene where he's talking to his own penis.
Yeah, that's the thing that
Jeremy, you remember, right? That is by far the funniest scene of that entire show. That was a good show, even though it probably wasn't historically accurate. But that scene was the funniest scene I've seen on TV in a long time. But you guys want to talk about some ice piss?
Oh, God damn it! All right.
I swear to God, I had.
That's
to
a
go
great
online.
clip there too. You got a Nazi clip, and now you got an ice piss clip.
Let's talk ice piss. The spray can that John Clark, played by Lev Schreiber, uses to cut through the chain link fence is supposed to be a real-life CIA chemical spray known as ice piss. When asked if a real can of ice piss could be acquired for the scene, the technical advisor said, quote, "I don't want to go to prison."
Right. Fair play.
Fair enough. Fair enough. That
We
actually
can make movie magic happen.
I'm not gonna lie. I spent a good 45 minutes last night trying to dig around the internet to see if ice piss was a real thing.
You're on a list now.
I'm like, yeah, he's already on the list.
You're on a list.
They can put me on the list all they want. If you're gonna arrest me for trying to find out, fine. Just let me see.
Not
a can of ice
arresting
piss.
you. No, but just wait. You're gonna just. Oh, I won't make the political joke. Hi.
Let me just. I don't care. Whatever. You can put me on a list. Put me on a no-fly list. That's fine. I'll drive everywhere I got to go all over the country. And I just want to play with the can of ice piss because that's like this. It's the because at first I was just like, what? It's like really? I was like, is that just like something like a liquid nitrogen or something like that? But I was like, liquid nitrogen wouldn't even because like I know the metal in a fence is not exactly the toughest metal in the world. But I was just like, but still, even spraying it with some liquid nitrogen wouldn't freeze it up to where it would break. I was like, so what is this chemical shit? And I was reading this and was like, oh, wait a minute, it's called ice piss. And it's something the CIA supposedly actually has. I had to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole in that one for about 45 minutes last night. I was like, I wonder if this is real. I knew I would probably not be able to get my hands on it, but I was like, I just wonder if this is real. And everything I found was just kind of like, oh, they might have it, they might not. We don't know, but whatever.
Right,
and I was like, well, I'm obviously not going to get the answer that I want out of this, so whatever.
Just non-answers.
Yeah. But, there's a bit of a connection between this movie and Pearl Harbor, and I'm not just talking about Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck was actually on the set of Pearl Harbor when he was offered the role of Jack Ryan. His co-star, Alec Baldwin, who played Jack Ryan in The Hunt for Red October, was on set with him for Pearl Harbor, because he does have a role in Pearl Harbor.
That's right.
He actually convinced him to take the role. Affleck also reached out to Harrison Ford to receive his blessing before officially signing on.
Hey, man. That's awesome. You can get praise from, the two previous Jack Ryans.
It would have been like talking to Baldwin makes sense because they were acting the same movie together at the time. So I mean, reaching out to him and saying, "Hey, what was your experience playing this character?" That makes sense. I mean, calling Harrison Ford is cool. I mean, I wouldn't have felt necessary, but
if you can say, "Hey, Harrison Ford said it was all good," like,
well, Harrison Ford was also attached to star in this movie for about a year and a half as well. But they couldn't figure out the story, so they decided that they were going to move off of Harrison Ford, and the director left, and they were like, well, let's just go ahead and still make this movie. We'll just make it a younger version of Jack Ryan, who's just getting his career started, rather than somebody who's already balls deep in his career like Harrison Ford was.
Like Harrison Ford.
But
you have to be the president again at that point.
True.
Like Harrison Ford, like he to be the president by then.
But somebody who did like Ben Affleck was Tom Clancy. Tom Clancy said that of the three actors that he saw play the role of Jack Ryan, that Ben Affleck was actually his favorite.
Well, there you go. Even better praise.
I would be surprised that he was a favorite of anything. Have you guys ever... I have this on DVD. I watched it on streaming when I watched it for this review. But I have it on DVD, and I've watched the commentary. And there's actually a section on there where Tom Clancy gives his commentary in this movie. Nice. And... I mean, I think we've talked before about how Stephen King has been really critical about the movie.
Just like Stephen King just hates everything. Yeah.
I was watching the commentary with Tom Clancy on this movie, and he spends a good 60% of the commentary smashing this movie. Damn. I mean, it's some of it. It's not even like he was just saying, "I think this movie sucked. This scene was terrible." It was he would take these really kind of backhanded shots at the movie. Like, I'm not criticizing it, but I didn't like the way they did this. And then it's like, oh, I'm not criticizing it, but I don't think the scene turned out very well. It's like that was kind of what most of his commentary was. I wanted to be like, why are you even doing this fucking commentary, dude? Right. It's like, because like Spielberg is notorious for not doing commentaries on his movies. Once DVD became a thing, I mean, early in his career, maybe it wasn't a big deal, but once DVDs became a thing and commentary became kind of a normal thing to see in a movie, he is notorious for not doing commentary for any of his movies. He just doesn't want to do it.
Interesting.
And
well,
really
look what's happening to people like Ryan Reynolds now. People are going back and watching every moment of that kind of stuff, looking for anything he says.
True. Oh yeah.
that it's like dangerous at this point because anything you could say could. Yeah, he was smart not to do it.
Well, I just think that, in Spielberg's case, I just think it's one of those things like, he's like, I don't come from that generation of filmmaker. I don't feel like I have to do it. I mean,
Right.
Because
You've already proved yourself, I guess. You don't have to.
The
His
product
career started in
speaks
the
for
70s.
itself. You don't
Yeah.
need me to tell you to like it.
By the time DVD and commentary rolled around, he was already Sir Steven Spielberg. He didn't need to.
Yeah,
he
Mike,
didn't need to do-
he's
he didn't need to
Spielberg.
do that. So, if I were him, I probably wouldn't do it much either. But let's see. In the beginning of the movie, the nuclear bunker in which President Fowler and DCI William Cabot, played by Morgan Freeman, walk in at the beginning of the movie is actually a real nuclear bunker. The scene was shot at a real bunker in Carp, Ontario. This bunker was designed as one in which members of the Canadian government, including the Prime Minister, would be housed during a nuclear attack. The bunker was in operation from 1961 until the mid-80s and was known as the Deffen Bunker in honor of former Prime Minister John Deffenbaker, who was Prime Minister during its initial construction.
I'm glad your name was so damn close to the word bunker that you could just call it a Deffen bunker. That's pretty funny.
Kind of fitting, right?
That's what I took away from that whole thing, was that that's really a funny play on words. That's amazing. You said Deffen Bunker. I'm like, is his name Deffen? You're like, no, Deffen Baker. I'm like, God damn it.
That makes sense. That's cool though. That's some realism. I
Good
like
job, our friends up north, Alex and the Garbage Man. Good job for having
Right.
names that work out well with bunker.
it. Thanks for your silly names and your maple syrup.
Yeah. Especially the
For
syrup.
that. Yeah.
Other than that, you guys, well, hockey. Is hockey Canadian or is it European? I don't even know. Who cares?
thought it was-
It's fun to watch.
Well, I mean, because French-speaking people are a lot pretty widespread there in Canada. So, is it European? I don't know. Could be.
Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Stewart said would have loved to have had a Jaws DVD Blu-ray with Spielberg commentary, though. Yeah, but
Yeah, for his first, I mean, that would have been cool, but you probably doesn't want to go down the rabbit hole, I guess.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Because once people say, you see him do that, they're like, oh, why don't you do this movie? And like, when they talk about E.T., like, no, he doesn't want to do that. So,
Yeah, but let's see. On with some more trivia. Cora has kind of dipped out for a second because she has to restart her router. So it shows her here, but she'll be all the way back in here in a minute. So for those of you listening to Cora, she'll be back in a second. But
right.
let's see. What was I going to say? When the national anthem is being sung before the Super Bowl, the portion we hear is actually from the fourth stanza, not from the first that is usually sung before sporting events.
yeah, I was like, wait a minute. That's not the one we usually hear, but that's interesting.
I always thought that they had just kind of done it differently to do it differently.
Well,
But
that's kind of what it felt like.
and then I realized that that the Star Spangled Banner, like they sing the first stanza at all sporting events. It's actually there's actually four verses behind that a lot of people don't know, because if you sang the entire Star Spangled Banner before a sporting event, it would take probably 20 minutes, and they don't want to give that much TV time away. They want to get to the game, so they generally just sing the first stanza, which we all know by heart, most of us anyway, and. That's just kind of it. But you can go online and look up all the actual lyrics to the full Star Spangled Banner if you are so inclined. I've done it. I've done it in the years since. Yes, Cora's back. But Cora, I was just saying that when they did the Star Spangled Banner before the game in the movie, it's actually not the stanza that we're all used to hearing. It's actually the fourth stanza of the longer version of the song. I don't know if you caught that when you were watching the movie or not.
I don't think I did, because I knew the bomb was about to go off, and I was waiting for that moment.
Just waiting for
Oh,
that.
I didn't see. I was listening. I was like,
And I was
that's not how the song
screaming.
goes.
And I'm like thinking, like, this is, it's gonna be bad. Yeah, gonna
Well,
be bad.
Here's one casting possibility that struck me as very interesting. Denzel Washington actually turned down the role of William Cabot in this movie.
Oh shit!
Morgan Freeman did pretty fine.
I know, but man, Denzel, that still would have been pretty wild.
I don't know. I think Freeman did. Maybe I think would be a better job.
Well,
Denzel's more action. Freeman's really good at stuff.
Denzel can be pretty intense, man. I don't know. Man, I don't know.
They'll be able to chew up some dialogue in that movie.
well, I mean, okay. Well, there's two ways to look at this. Number one is Denzel.
Yeah.
Denzel.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
he's Denzel. The other part is you got to think about where you're finding this character kind of in their life and their career. Denzel would have been a bit young at the time. Because I don't know how old he was at the time. You're talking about 24 years ago, 23 years ago.
Yeah.
So while Denzel is 60 now, or I don't even know how old Denzel is, to be perfectly honest. Let me go look.
Is he maybe like
Denzel
late 60s?
Washington. He is. Of course, it's not. It's just cut off from the screen. He is 70.
So, okay.
So he'd have been in his late 40s.
I'm not good at math.
I mean, I'm in my late 40s. Does it look like I could be director of Central Intelligence? I mean, my hair is gray. but that's
It
just
depends
'cause-
on who you worked for, how fast you rose in the ranks, and if you killed the right people, and
True.
who knows.
Well,
all that stuff is boring. Yeah.
How old was Morgan
if
Freeman? when he
you're
did
a
this?
senator's grandson or something, who fucking knows?
How old is Morgan Freeman right now?
Yeah, how old was Morgan Freeman then?
Morgan Freeman, American actor and producer, who is now. He was born in 37.
I'm gonna
which
test
makes
something.
him-
How
Wow.
old
Why is
was
it so hard
Morgan
to-
Freeman in 2002? 65. You can Google this shit. How old was he in
Wow.
this year?
Okay.
Yeah, 65 makes a bit more sense.
Because he's gonna die, and he's supposed to pass the torch. So
Morgan Freeman's
know.
87 now.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
God, he's
Okay.
I didn't realize he was that old.
Neither. I was like, you said
I thought maybe he
1937.
was,
I thought,
I
oh
thought
shit.
maybe he was 80-ish. 87. Damn, he's pushing the 90s. But
he was born before World War II ended.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Morgan Freeman was born in 37. He was born before World War II started.
I was like, I think before it started. I was like, I think you're talking about
39, 38, 39 when it started. Yeah.
I thought it started in 35 or 36, in my recollection.
Yeah, it
Well, I
might have-
mean,
In
well,
Europe,
getting there.
the tensions
Well,
and what led up to
they
what we
say
got
that
involved
World
in.
War II started when Hitler invaded Poland in
Invaded
September
Poland.
39.
Okay.
39, yeah.
So,
Well,
but I mean,
I'm
if
wrong.
you want to go back to farther stuff, you can say whatever.
It
But
might
I
have
mean,
been
they say it
building up at
officially
that
started
point.
in September 39. But yeah, I mean, 1937 in Memphis, Tennessee. He's 87 years old.
Man,
Wow.
Damn.
that's cool.
He also reached the rank of Airman First Class in the United States Air Force. Dope.
Yes, sir.
But it would have been interesting to see Denzel. I don't know. I feel like I feel like Freeman probably played the role for what it was in this movie better. So I don't know.
That's fair.
But we've already made a little bit of a connection to the View Askew universe. We've mentioned it.
Ah.
Did you know, Jeremy,
Switches.
that Ben Affleck was actually filming his scenes for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back simultaneously during the filming of this movie?
Oh shit! Yeah, you would have been. That was about 2003, I think. Was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back? Something like that. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I remember. I think I was watching the commentary for that movie years ago, and
Jay and Silent Bob.
yeah, for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and Kevin Smith was saying that when they first go to meet him to talk about stopping to get the movie made, that the reason why Ben Affleck looked so haggard in that scene is because he had literally just a few hours later flown in from Hawaii, where he had just finished filming Pearl Harbor.
Pearl Harbor.
Oh.
So he was literally like fresh off of
He was getting
however
run
many
around.
weeks or months it took to shoot that movie, and that he
Man.
was trying to sneak in a few weeks off before starting what I assume would be this movie, or whatever came in between this movie. I don't know, whatever. But he had, I guess, just earlier that day had flown back in from Hawaii after the shoot for Pearl Harbor, and he was just like, "Dude, come down here right now. Let's shoot these fucking scenes." And so
Fuck it,
Affleck
yeah.
was like, "Whatever." So he just rolled in there. That's why he looked so fucking like unshaven and kind of hair was a mess, because
That's
he had
fair.
literally just a few days earlier finished filming Pearl Harbor. It just flown.
Yeah, that
back
was
to
like
the States.
2001. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
But one thing I found really crazy. This is the last piece of trivia I have, and I find it very interesting. The scene where the bomb goes off and the president's motorcade gets caught in all the chaos. In that scene, real U.S. Marines, along with 2 Marine Corps CH-53E Super Stallion helicopters, were used for the sequence of rescuing President Fowler from the wrecked motorcade. The mission conducted by Marines in this scene is what to expect when extracting a trap or a tactical recovery of aircraft and or personnel. Trap missions are most likely to be assigned to a Marine expeditionary unit. All Phil Alden Robinson, the director, had to do was point to the overturned limo and say, "The president's in that car, go," and then started rolling. And that whole thing
Right.
was an actual like representation of what they would do in that situation, how they would extract the president from that situation,
cool.
get out.
There's your target. Go get him. It's like, yes, sir. Here we go.
He said, "Roll cameras. President's in that motorcade. Go get him." And they
That's
jumped
badass.
in full balls to the wall.
I'll be right back. I gotta shut the dog gate.
Okay, but yeah, I
badass.
thought that was pretty crazy. I love that kind of realism in film.
I don't know what. See, my little tiny brain went to something that was really cool that always stuck out to me in episode 3 of Star Wars. If you know about like the clones, other than it being Tamura Morrison, like in probably some shots where they put him in some armor and he's one of the clone troopers. All the clone troopers in those prequel movies were CGI'd, except for one. And it was in episode 3, and you can tell because like they kind of like there's a big battle going on in the city there in Utapau, and you can tell like why are they kind of like you're following this one clone trooper soldier as he's battling his way through these like battle droids, and you're like, but why? It's because that was the only time they actually put like a real Marine in the armor and just let him just like run through, like he's getting down on one knee, going over here, shooting this droid, just doing his thing, like he drills one into the fucking ground and gets back up and shoots another one. I was like, okay, I don't even care. That's a cool little action piece, and I love that that's the only time it was an actual person. So it's cool to see somebody do his thing, you know, even in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah, I love that kind of authenticity and realism in film.
Yeah.
Especially when it
He's
comes
kicking ass.
especially when it comes to things like this, because
Oh yeah,
because
especially
it feels
I'm talking
like
about
the
Star Wars and shit. I'm saying, yeah, this is real.
Well,
Yeah.
it feels like the military is so secretive about everything, and you know, most of the times it's for good reasons. Sometimes it may not be, but I mean, it's like we feel
Unless,
like
unless you're talking about some serious shit, on a social media app that you chime in with reporters' phone numbers, but whatever.
just he didn't bring him in a signal or anything. Calm down.
I know,
but,
right?
But
I couldn't
yeah,
help it. I'm really sorry.
I love when they work that much realism into shit, because I love this, because like I know guys in the Marines that have done stuff like this. I've known guys in all kinds of branches of the military. I mean, I've known people that fly around the AWACS, that airplane that has the big dome that rotates in the top.
Mm-hmm.
I've known people that have flown that have worked in that airplane, so it's really cool to like actually know what that stuff is, what it does, how the military does all these crazy things, to get some insight of that. Because like I'm sure that the military in many movies has given some authenticity and some accuracy to some things. I know they're not exactly accurate because they don't want to give away all their secrets, and there have just been times where movies have flat out made shit up. I mean, plenty of movies have done that. And I get it, but it is nice to see the authenticity. It also helps kind of understanding as to what these guys actually do.
You're telling me movies aren't realistic? What the hell?
I mean, there's only
Wasn't the documentary?
they can only be so realistic if you think about it.
I know.
But at the same time, it's like as much
Well, for the
realism
sake of
as possible,
storytelling.
especially if it's cinematic. If it's
Yeah, I mean,
cinematic,
if you
it's
can
even
make it-
better. Which is like, that's the idea behind the scene. It's so cinematic to see these super stallions roll in and all these Marines roll
yeah,
out.
it's still-
They rip the president out of the overturned limo. And
Yeah.
They rush him over to the helicopter and then whisk him off to Air Force One so that he can evac with the rest of all the important people or whatever.
The other staff that were still in the car and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very cinematic moment anyway. So
Yeah.
the fact that it was authentic, or at least mostly authentic. I would imagine there's a couple of things they didn't quite put on camera, but the fact that it was as authentic as they could make it is actually kind of makes it seem funner to watch for me.
Yeah, but you sat there and showed us the can of ice piss, so whatever, man.
You showed us the can of ice piss. You may as well just put a picture
How
of it
many
on-
times can that phrase be said on the show today?
As many
really
times as I
wonder.
have to say it to where I can actually see a YouTube video of somebody using ice piss. Demonstrate it. I mean, seriously, it's like...
Boy. You don't think that shit would be
I'm not-
taken down?
I'm not asking for the formula. I'm just saying I want like a 2-minute long video of some CIA guy
Why don't
saying,
you just
okay,
take
look,
some piss, throw it in the freezer, and then
I don't think that's quite.
put a
I don't think
put
it's
a
quite
label on it, and then you can make a video of throwing ice piss across your yard, a frozen cup of water. I got me some ice piss, and there you go. not make a video. There you
Ooh,
go.
all
All right,
There's the
guys.
answer.
Today's
That's what
episode
I'll
of Dumb
do.
Shit Science, rubbing this on my metal fence. Can I make a hole? Find out next.
That's what I'll do. I'll go like on our merch shop since I need to start putting some more T-shirts on there anyway.
God,
I'll go to the merch shop and I'll start coughing like it says Ice Piss on one side, like the channel logo on the other. That's
You
what
need to
I'm
make
gonna
it a
do.
little. You know, you need to make it just say Ice Piss, and it's a little ice cube tray, and each little square is yellow. It just needs
Yeah.
to be that.
There you go.
That's what we should do. That'd be awesome. We should totally do
Ooh.
that. I
Stuart
gotta
McCrae-
make that work.
Point. Most authentic use of military in a movie. Harley Ermy, baby, in Full Metal Jacket.
Oh yeah.
I'm so glad they let him just let loose and do his thing because don't get much more real than that.
I think even he over the years said that there was some of that stuff was kind of a little over the top, that they wouldn't have done it in
Well,
real
but
life,
still.
but it was still pretty close.
How tall are you, Private? Sir, 5'9", sir. Holy shit! I didn't know they stacked shit that high.
Oh god, that is a classic. That is a classic.
A jelly donut private pile.
And one of the reasons that I want to review that movie at some point is because it really is like two different movies. It's like you have the first half of the movie and they're in basic, and the second half of the movie is when they're actually in country in Vietnam. That's like two different movies.
yeah.
And it's all just so good. I love that movie. But we'll have to go on a Stanley Kubrick bender because there's a couple of Kubrick movies
Christ.
I'd like to do.
That'd be fun.
Cora won't do Clockwork Orange, and I don't
No.
blame her.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't
Every
blame her.
fucking
Will you
no in the
wait?
book.
I
Will
don't
you at least
blame
do
her.
The Shining? That's not too bad.
Oh, I
Shining?
love The Shining. I've seen it.
The
Yeah.
Shining is good.
Or 2001 Space Odyssey.
Space Odyssey.
Yep, seen
Yeah.
that. A good one.
His last movie was Eyes Wide
Sure
Shut.
makes me want to not use Siri, but whatever.
Yeah, right.
His last
What are
movie
you
was
doing,
Eyes Wide-
Dave?
Eyes Wide Shut before he died. The whole Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, when they were swingers or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that. I think I saw that
Something
movie
like that.
once when it first came out. Never saw it again, so I'd be like watching.
I
it
try to
sometime.
avoid Tom Cruise movies. I don't support Scientology.
I know.
Hey, I don't either, but he
get it.
makes some pretty awesome fucking movies. I gotta say.
I'm just being an asshole. I do watch his movies.
Man, what if we also did like
A couple of
Alfred Hitchcock stuff?
happy
It's
with that
funny
one.
you say that because at the end of last year, it took me like a day and a half. I made a list of everything he ever made in
good
order
Lord.
with the dates of when it was released so that sometime I can watch everything Alfred Hitchcock in a year.
That's gonna be a track, yeah.
I wrote it all down on paper. And
I know I haven't seen all of it,
the
but
obscure stuff, the really well-known stuff, and I would say about 90% of it is findable at this point.
I would say so. Yeah, that'd be a fun little trek through some classic horror.
Now,
That's just
some
fun.
of my favorites are Dial M for Murder, Rear Window,
Mhm.
the originals,
North by
by the
Northwest.
way. Yes.
The good one, Vertigo, Terminal.
Mhm. Psycho,
Lifeboat.
not so much. I don't
Psycho's
really
fun. That's a
It's
classic.
okay, but it's not like
Oh my God, The Birds.
yes.
Fantastic
That movie, because of that movie, I'm weird about birds. I'll be right back. My dogs are barking, so I'm gonna mute.
Well, that's fair. I mean, birds are. Yeah, they start acting like that. I mean, something's wrong, and that would be kind of freaky. Still better than Birdemic, though, at least.
Hitchcock actually has 2 stars in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. One for television,
Holy
the second one for TV or movies.
I
didn't know you could do that. That's
kind of cool.
Hollywood Walk of Fame. A lot of people think that it's like something they give you once you've achieved a certain point. Actually, you know what? You want to hear something really, really crazy?
Okay.
You could have a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Well, it's like, don't you just pay for it and you can have
Pretty
one?
much.
Pretty much.
I actually
like,
thought
don't you just
a
have to pay for
long
it?
time ago. I thought about doing a video on this, and I still might because I still have the notes that I typed up about it. Basically, it's because it's like this group of whatever people that run the Hollywood Walk of Fame Commission or whatever it is. So I could go to them and be like, I think Grim Tuesday should have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and they'll essentially just be
For
like,
YouTube.
and then it's essentially because YouTube personalities are actually eligible to get stars in the
I was
Hollywood
gonna say,
Walk
I
of Fame.
feel like they. Yeah.
But there's a couple that do. But
That's cool.
basically, I just need to work up the money to because it's like a special kind of cement that they use or mortar. There's
Mhm.
one that they use for the exterior, and then another one they use for that pinker kind of the actual star. And then you
Yeah.
have to have like a Hollywood Walk of Fame. Let's see if I can get some more details before I butcher all this shit. But yeah, essentially you just have to like pay for the Athletes are now on there too.
Well, that makes sense.
As
I
of
guess.
2023, they have an athletic trophy that you can get there now too.
Nice.
But yeah, you really just have to like pay for it, and then there's like a trust that you have to open up to maintain the star. So it's like the Donald Trump one. Obviously, he just pays a bunch of money into it because somebody tears it up every 15 minutes, and then basically this trust just pays for somebody to go in there and actually redo it and stuff like that. But
shit, I'd love to have that job. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Go clean up some stars on the Walk of Fame. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, nomination.
Well, it's like that.
Each year, an average of 200 nominations is submitted to Hollywood Chamber of Commerce Walk of Fame Selection Committee. Anyone, including fans, can nominate anyone active in the field of entertainment as long as the nominee or their management approves of the nomination. So if I were to say I think Jeremy should have one, Jeremy would be like, no, I don't want a star. That would kind of be it. Nominees must have a minimum of 5 years experience in the category for which they are nominated in the history of charitable contributions. So start donating some money, Jeremy. Posthumous nominees.
Yeah, when I start making that big internet money, sure, I'll do that.
Posthumous nominees must have been deceased at least 5 years. At a meeting each June, the committee selects approximately 20 to 24 celebrities. It's a weird number. Why don't it be 20 to 25? But 20 to 24 celebrities to receive stars in the Walk of Fame. One posthumous award is given each year as well. The nomination of those not selected are rolled over to the following year for reconsideration. Those not selected 2 years in a row are dropped and must be re-nominated to receive further consideration. Living recipients must reach and personally attend a presentation ceremony within 2 years of selection. If the ceremony is not scheduled within 2 years, a new application must be submitted. A relative of deceased recipients must attend posthumous presentations. Ceremonies are open to the public. A fee of $75,000 as of 2023 is payable at the time of selection, is collected to pay for the creation and installation of the star as well as general maintenance of the Walk of Fame. The fee is usually paid by the nominating organization, which may be a film studio, record company, broadcaster, or other sponsor involved with a prospective honoree. The Starz cable network, for example, paid for Dennis Hopper's star as part of her promotion for its series Crash.
Okay, so when I get 75 grand, I'll let you know.
I watched. There's a YouTuber guy from Germany called German in Venice, and he's obsessed with Hollywood and celebrities.
I've seen that guy's channel.
He does live streams or does videos that he edits of them doing the Walk of Fame stuff, and he actually went there when they were building it, like pouring the stuff in, putting the little things in. Like, so if you ever want to see how that works, well, look up the German in Venice channel on YouTube, and there's going to be some videos there that have that kind of stuff.
Well, I gotta be jealous of my mom. She's seen the Walk of Fame. That's pretty cool.
Entertainers, some entertainers have multiple stars. The following notable entertainers have had their contributions in multiple categories recognized with multiple stars. Gene Autry is the only honoree to have a star in every category during 1983 to 2023 when the number of categories was 5. He has 5 stars in the Walk of Fame.
Do you need more than one?
People that I'd be happy with no, but whatever. As long as somebody wants to throw 70 grand at each of his stars, more power to them. Some people that have 4 stars are Bob Hope, Mickey Rooney, Roy Rogers, Tony Martin. Each have 4 stars. Rooney has 3 of his.
We need to have merch that's called the Harsh Truth Mug of Fame, and people can have their name on it.
We could. That'd be kind of dope. We should do something like that. 33 honorees have 3 stars, including Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra, Joe Stafford, Dean Martin, Dinah Shore, Danny Kaye, Doug Fairbanks Jr., and Jack Benny have stars in 3 categories.
You know, if we do a mugshot of fame, Casey's going to keep putting his name in for consideration until he fucking gets one.
No, like people can order it, and it has their name on it, like a generic thing. Like
I thought you meant like we have each of us have our.
No, just like
Casey's going to keep putting his hat in the ring.
Well, that could be part of the awards we're talking about. But anyways, the point I just think it'd be cool to like Harsh Truth Mug of Fame, and then like people can put their name on it and then have it sent to them.
Be interesting.
Over 2 million people have 2 stars, including Dolly Parton.
I'm rambling.
Michael Jackson, Smokey Robinson has 2 as a solo artist and a member of the Miracles. Let's see. Michael Jackson is a solo artist and is a member of the Jackson 5. Cher forfeited her opportunity to join this list by declining to schedule the mandatory personal appearance when she was selected in 1983. She did, however, attend the unveiling of the Sonny and Cher star in 1998 as a tribute to her recently deceased ex-husband, Sonny Bono.
Okay. Well, makes sense.
But, She's got one up on everybody. With Twinkies and cockroaches, she'll survive a nuclear bomb. So who cares about her walks on fame? Whatever.
Yeah, she'll outlive us all.
Unique and unusual. 16 stars are identified with a one-word stage name. Example being Liberace, Pink, Roseanne, and Slash. Clayton Moore is so inextricably linked with his Lone Ranger character, even though he played other roles during his career. He is one of only 2 actors to have his character name alongside his own on his star. The other is Timothy Riggs, whose star references his Betty Lou character.
Doesn't Batman now have one on the just Batman himself have one on the Hall of Walk of Fame?
I haven't read that this far down.
I think that's a thing that happened more recently, that like just Batman has a star on the Walk of Fame, like the character. So like that's interesting. That's not like any one particular like actor who's been Batman. Let me look that up.
Let's see. A few star recipients moved on after their entertainment careers to political notability. The 2 presidents of the United States, Ronald Reagan, the 40th president, and Donald Trump, the 45th, 47th president, have stars in the walk. Reagan is also one of 2 governors of California with a star. The other is Arnold Schwarzenegger. One U.S. Senator, George Murphy. 2 members of the U.S. House of Representatives, Helen Gagan and Sonny Bono, have stars. Yeah, Sonny Bono was actually a member of the House of Representatives when he died. Ignacy Perduski, who served as the Prime Minister of Poland between the World Wars, is the only European head of government represented. Film and stage actor Albert Decker served as 1 term from the California State Assembly during the 40s. Let's see. On its 50th anniversary in 2005, Disneyland received a star near Disney's soda fountain on the Hollywood Boulevard. There are 4 dogs represented on the walk, Cora. Lassie,
Toto?
Tin, Strongheart, and Snoopy.
Oh, Toto got snuffed on that one. Rude.
Oh, wow.
And you ruined her grave.
So Lassie, Rin Tin Tin, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, there we go.
Snoopy kind of makes sense. The
Snoopy
other one is
makes sense.
Strongheart.
That dog they sent into space deserves one. Just saying.
Edson von Oringen, better known as Strongheart, was a male German Shepherd that was one of the early canine stars of feature films.
Okay. Interesting.
Well,
I did find it on September 26th, I believe, 2024. Batman is now the first superhero with a star on the Walk of Fame, which is pretty cool.
you mean the character itself, not an actor?
Yeah, because
Wow.
That's what was cool. It's like Batman, the first superhero with a star on the Walk of Fame.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, I didn't either. That's why I was like surprised that it's just Batman. It's not like a specific actor.
You mean SpongeBob isn't on there yet?
I actually
Pokemon
I
or
would
whatever
be
the fuck
really
they're
surprised
called.
if he wasn't.
I actually just got down to fictional characters. It's actually got its own article. In 1978, in honor of its 50th anniversary, Mickey Mouse became the first animated character to receive a star, and nearly 20 more followed over the next decades. Other fictional characters in the walk include the Munchkins, the kaiju Godzilla, a live-action dog named Lassie, Pee Wee Herman, as portrayed by Paul Rubens, animated film characters such as Shrek, Snow White, and animated television characters including The Simpsons and Rugrats. Jim Henson is one of 4 puppeteers to have a star, but also has a further 3 stars dedicated to his creations. One for the Muppets as a whole, one for Kermit the Frog, and one for Big Bird. Now, when I go to the list of fictional characters with stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, let me see. Character name: Alvin and Chipmunks, Batman, Big Bird, Bugs Bunny, Donald Duck, Kermit, Godzilla, Pee-wee, anything, Winnie the Pooh, Shrek, none of these really stand. Tinkerbell, Woody Woodpecker.
Nice.
See, live action animals: Lassie, Rin Tin Tin, Strongheart. Corporate entities: Disneyland and the Chevy Suburban has its own.
What?
What?
Fuck.
Product automobile logo. The Chevrolet bow tie was given its star on December 5th of 2019. Its location is
Ford didn't get one. Damn.
In front of Ovation Hollywood, which is a shopping center in Hollywood. That's where it's at. In recognition of the vehicle's contribution to film and television industry, having appeared in over 1,700 films and over 250 television series since 1952.
Well, that makes sense, yeah. That's wild.
Errors. Let's see. Julia Louis-Dreyfus' star was constructed with the name Julia Louis-Dreyfus, not hyphenated. The actress was reportedly amused, but the error was eventually corrected. A similar mistake was made on Dick Van Dyke Star in 1993, whereas his last name was put in as one word, Van Dyke.
And by the way, when they redo them, they have to take them apart and re-pour them. It's not a matter of just like pulling a piece out. And when I watched how they make them, it's
there's a video on YouTube I saw a long time ago about how they do them.
Yeah, it's pretty articulate, or not articulate, but very detail oriented. You know. And the fucked up thing is, half these stars are on streets in LA that are now in bad neighborhoods where homeless encampments just have tents on them with people pissing on them.
As a California native, I will tell you that the Hollywood Walk of Fame, that street has never been a nice area of town.
maybe that's what my mom meant by they told her to get back on the bus by dark when you're there. I was like, I feel like that's speaks for itself. Probably that's fair.
Yeah.
Yikes! Casey's in the Hall
Get your pictures and get out.
That's because he shows all his games up his bum.
Oh my gosh!
What he's got all the belts for.
Yep. He said, "What? No Triumph, the insult comic dog?" I agree. Triumph, the insult comic dog is fucking hilarious.
Wait, I'm surprised that like in terms of animals, that, like Mr. Ed isn't on there or something.
Oh, it's a good point.
I didn't think about that. That'd be a cool one to have. It's pretty iconic.
Yeah, or Alf, that character Alf that everybody loved in the fucking 80s was creepy as fuck.
There's also a whole thing about theft and vandalism. Acts of vandalism in the Walk of Fame have ranged from profanity and political statements written on stars with markers and paint to damage with heavy tools. Vandals have also tried to chisel out the brass category emblems embedded in the stars below the names, and
not
have
easy to
stolen a statue component of the Four Ladies of Hollywood. Closed-circuit surveillance cameras have been installed in the stretch of Hollywood Boulevard between La Brea Avenue and Vine Street in an effort to discourage mischievous activities. Well, whatever.
That's nice.
4 of the stars, which weigh about 300 pounds each, have been stolen from the Walk of Fame. They just flat out stole the whole damn thing. In 2000, James Stewart's and Kirk Douglas' star disappeared from their locations near the intersection of Hollywood and Vine, where they had been temporarily removed for a construction project. Police recovered them in the suburban community of Southgate, where they arrested a man involved in an incident there and searched his house. The suspect was a construction worker employed on the Hollywood and Vine project. The stars have been badly damaged and had to be remade. One of Gene Autry's 5 stars was also stolen from a construction area. Another theft occurred in 2005 when thieves used a concrete saw to remove Gregory Peck star from its Hollywood Boulevard site.
What would you do with that? Like, you couldn't hide it. You couldn't show it. You couldn't hide it.
You're not allowed to hawk that to somebody either.
Like, nobody was going to buy that for their private collection. That's like the stupidest thing to steal.
You know what? There's got to be a black market for stuff like this.
Oh, because
think about it. Like, they haven't been able to find the actual movie worn ruby slippers from.
They're somebody's.
Those are in some stupid rich person's fucking.
That's been passed down a few times,
right, and they're just I would imagine that whoever has those knows that they are worth $1 bajillion, knows that you can't admit to having them to anybody because you get yourself in trouble. Even if you're in another country where they couldn't really touch you, it's like you run the risk of a lot of people that don't like you coming to you and causing shit. So they're probably locked in a glass case somewhere in some guy's basement, where only he goes down there and he just looks at them and says, "I own these things," and it makes me feel good.
Well,
it's that simple, I guess.
It's probably been passed down at this point.
There's a whole other thing in here about Trump star being vandalized 1 million times.
What? No way.
Yeah, I know. A man named James Otis. Oh, really? A man named James Otis, who claims to be an heir to the Otis Elevator Company fortune, used a sledgehammer and a pickaxe to destroy all of the star's brass inlays. He readily admitted to the vandalism. This was one of the vandalisms of Trump stars. And he was arrested and sentenced to 3 years probation. The star was repaired and served as a site of pro-Trump demonstrations until it was destroyed a second time in July of 2018 by a man named Austin Clay. Clay later surrendered himself to police and was bailed out by James Otis. Stick together, guys. Whatever. Hey, you're sticking together. Clay was sentenced to 1 day in jail, 3 years of probation, and 20 days of community service. He was also ordered to attend psychological counseling and pay restitution of $9,400 to the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. On December 2018, the star was defaced with swastikas and other graffiti drawn on a permanent marker. It was again vandalized.
Someday, all of these will be ripped up and put in a museum, so nobody can fuck with them.
There's actually, I've heard people say that if they're that if they're going to keep this Walk of Fame star thing going, that it does need to be in something like that as opposed to exposed to people, because it's not because like for all the stuff like there's this one here that says homage, like some fans show respect to stars recipients both living and dead by laying flowers or other symbolic tributes to their stars. There's a picture here of Michael Jackson's star after he died, all the flowers and stuff. But it's like look, all it takes is one famous person saying something that a handful of people don't like, and they're going to run down there with pitchforks and pickaxes trying to tear their shit up. So, I mean, whether it makes sense or not, they've all been damaged.
Couldn't they put them like in a room at that like theater, that famous theater down there? I forget what it's called.
The Chinese theater.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, well, that's where they.
Couldn't they just line the walls with these things?
That's where they do the handprints.
Oh.
That Man's Chinese Theater, that's the area where they do the handprints and the feet prints and all that in cement. In August 2018, West Hollywood City Council unanimously passed a resolution requesting permanent removal of the star due to repeated vandalism. I don't see, whatever, who cares? According to Mayor John Duran, the resolution was completely symbolic as West Hollywood has no jurisdiction over the walk. Activist groups have also called for removing of stars honoring individuals whose public and professional lives have become controversial, including Trump, Bill Cosby, Kevin Spacey, and Brett Ratner. Yes, I understand.
Fair.
In answer to these campaigns, the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce announced that because the walk is a historical landmark, once the star has been added, it is considered to be part of the historic fabric of the Hollywood Walk of Fame and cannot be removed.
True.
I don't know.
It's kind of a weird pickle to be in.
Yeah, I kind of on the fence.
The legalities of this.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about that whole thing. I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I mean, because
Stuart McQuaid's fucking people are just gonna go squat down, and take a shit on Amber Heard. Sorry, they will.
Hey, shit happens. Pun.
Oh yeah,
bazinga. But let's see. The Hollywood Chamber of Commerce has adopted the tradition of placing flowers or wreaths at the stars of newly deceased awardees. For example, Betty Davis in 1989, Katharine Hepburn in 2003, Jackie Hooper in 2011. Stars of other deceased celebrities such as Michael Jackson and a bunch of other people have become impromptu memorial and vigil sites as well, and some continue to receive anniversary remembrances to this day. One of them is Betty White, Casey, you bastard. But I for a long time it felt like I should do like a whole video about kind of a little bit about the history, what it takes to get on there. I actually wrote some notes out a long time ago to that because it was right about the time that Paul Walker, a year or so after Paul Walker had died, that he was one of the people that was being, I think, nominated that year for a star on the Walk of Fame. So, and I was just reading it, and I just kind of like went down a bit of a rabbit hole as to what it takes. Actually, God, who's the Asian actor that I'm thinking of? I'm drawing a blank in his name. I have to look it up real quick because it's driving me nuts. Have you seen Balls of Fury?
Yes.
The one who, he's like, who asked you to take the cricket from my hand? The one who teaches him.
Oh.
James Hong.
Yeah, okay.
James Hong, who has been in a bajillion movies. You would all know James Hong. He is very much still alive. He's 96 years old. He was in Bonanza, Perry Mason, Man from U.N.C.L.E., I Spy, Kung Fu, numerous sitcoms, including a memorable role as Bruce in the Seinfeld episode, The Chinese Restaurant. What else has he been in? Big Trouble in Little China. He was in Wayne's World 2, Blade Runner, Balls of Fury, R.I.P.D., Safe. He does one of the voices in Kung Fu Panda. He played Mr. Gao in Turning Red, which is one of the better things animated things that Disney's done. But yeah, he's still alive, and one of the guys that was in the Hawaii Five-0, the newer television series, the Asian guy. Why am I drawing a blank on his name? But he was actually pushing for a long time to get him a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And I remember, let's see, Daniel Day Kim. In 2020, Daniel Day Kim started a GoFundMe campaign to get Hong a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He received a star as a member of the 2022 class of honorees, becoming the oldest person to receive the honor at the age of 93. So he did actually get his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Damn.
Which is cool. Yeah, Balls of Fury is funny. He's like, in my hand, I have a cricket. And he reaches out, grabs it real quick and smashes it. He goes, "Why'd you do that?" He goes, "I thought you guys would take the cricket from your hand." He goes, "Who the hell said take the cricket from my hand?" What's that?
Does Betty White have one?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, of course. I would imagine all the Golden Girls have one. But
probably,
yeah, I've long thought about doing about doing a video on that. Maybe I should kind of write out a script for that. Maybe I'll have one of the lovely ladies of our channel, either Rachel or Cora, narrate that because they have better voices than me. So, and coming in just at the last minute, right as I'm getting ready to end things, it is the Shape from Lone Star State. My man Tex, what's up, brother?
I can confirm. I know most of y'all probably didn't watch the 15-hour Avengers Doomsday reveal. I was revealed to be in the cast. I will be in the film. I finally got my big break. I made it big, y'all. What's up, everybody? No, just want to hop on.
We're talking about Betty White.
Yeah.
Oh, Betty White. I saw at Walmart, they have a brand new line of Golden Girls Funko Pops, and I wanted to buy them and mail them to Casey just as a fuck you. But, yeah, but it is what it is. So, no, I apologize. I just wanted to hop on for a minute. I finally got home. Earlier today, a friend of mine called. He had opening day tickets for the Ranger game. He's like, "Hey, you can't make it. You want these?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want free baseball tickets."
I did not blame you at all. Yeah. I 100% would have been in Cincinnati for the opening day game tonight against the Giants. I'm actually going to go to the game on Saturday.
It was. Well, but I'm sitting there at work, and he's like, "Hey, you want them?" And yeah, I basically told my boss, "Fire me if you want to. I'm going." And he didn't fire me, so it's fine. But we didn't win, unfortunately. Our bullpen fucking shit the bed, but it is what it is. So whatever.
I haven't watched the highlights yet, but I do know the Giants won on a 3-run homer in the top of the ninth by Helio Ramon. So.
Oh yeah.
Tex, do me a favor. Ask Frank if you can have some ice piss.
Ask Frank if I can have what?
Ice piss.
I will give you the boiled down version of this. Yes, ice piss.
Ice piss.
Now you've seen the movie that we reviewed tonight, right? Sum of All Fears. You've watched it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the scene where Jack Ryan and John Clark are working their way into this place to do their recon. He sprays that stuff on the fence and then just pulls on the fence and it breaks. That stuff is apparently something the CIA is rumored to actually have in its possession called ice piss. And there's a piece of trivia that I had.
You can't be on the show tonight without saying ice piss. So that's why you had to say it.
That's going to come a regular
ice piss, ice piss, ice piss. I'll say it a few times to just cover all bases in my lack of.
Here's the bit of trivia that I read on this. The spray can that John Clark, played by Liev Schreiber, uses to cut through the chain link fence is supposed to be a real-life CIA chemical spray known as ice piss.
Okay.
When asked if a real can of ice piss could be acquired for the scene, the technical advisor said, quote, "I don't want to go to prison." Which means that something like that probably exists in the CIA.
See,
the CIA did not want anybody to actually know about it.
Tex could make ice piss because he's down in the South. He probably knows how to make, stuff.
Technically, ice piss is already a thing. I mean, Cora wouldn't know this, but for the gentleman, of this call, you go to a bar, what do you see in the bottom of the toilet? But they always fill up the trough full of ice, right? So when you go in there to piss, it I guess helps work your way down. I don't really know, but technically, it's already a thing.
It actually, having managed many restaurants over my life, it actually supposed to keep odors down. That's why there's.
Well, I don't know. I've worked in bars and I couldn't tell you why they do that. I've just been told, "Hey, go refill the toilets full of ice." Okay, and I would go do it, but whatever. I don't know.
I have never heard of this shit.
You've never heard of that? Oh yeah, and once again, I assume women's bathrooms don't have a pee trough like we do in guys' bars. Where
we have private stalls with seats and
y'all are
and tissue stands and a place to set your phone and plug it in.
Get a big,
and a mirror to do your makeup.
You guys have candles and lavender. It's all real nice in there.
If you go to the guys' bathroom, there's one shitter. There's one shitter where the door doesn't work, so you're going to be seen when you go. And there's a trough where you just walk up with your buddies and do your business. And,
that's the thing. It kind of throws in. I'm so glad
I don't have a penis.
Well, because then you got to follow the awkward rule of you don't stand in the urinal next to somebody.
Oh no! If you get caught Peter watching, you're getting your ass whooped. That's also the rule.
You can't really follow that rule because it's just one big metal tin. You just got.
If I was a guy, I'd rather wear a diaper.
There's rules to this. That's all I'm saying.
It works for Trump.
When you're,
If you get caught-
when you're a guy, you just get used to it.
if you don't get it's bad enough to be caught cock watching, but if you get caught, no, sorry, I'm very drunk. I've been at a baseball game all day. You will have to forgive me.
When are
If
you
you
not
get
drunk?
caught, fair play. If you get caught cock staring, you're liable to get took out back with, get took to the woodshed, as they say. So,
Then why don't they
just keep
put little
that aside.
partitions?
You
got
do
time
it
for all
some,
that.
they
Or
don't
hang
others.
curtains with lights, like in the girls' bathroom.
Curtains?
Because we're not girls.
Let it out and you go.
My Lord.
Look,
Assembly line.
I cannot tell you how many times it's like I've been on a hike with like some friends of mine. It's like one of us has to piss,
Yeah.
it's like, whatever. So we just all stand there in a line, like right out there in the woods, just like draining it. So
Yeah,
it's
you
like
just go off in the woods and
Let me
Yeah.
tell you something. If girls' bathrooms
Yeah.
look like your bathrooms, we would never go out in public. We would drive home to go pee.
Yeah, well,
I don't know about
you
all
women
that.
folk
I've worked in enough restaurants and cleaned enough bathrooms to know that while the men's bathroom is not always the cleanest in the world, the women's bathrooms were downright disgusting. And it wasn't
This is
because
true.
we didn't clean them.
This is true.
It's because some women just didn't give a fuck.
right.
Stuart said in the outback we just
I
dig a
was
hole.
gonna say.
We don't even do that. We just piss.
You piss in the ice, right? Is that how
See,
it goes?
see,
Nice.
I do have to point this out. I was not here for this review. I'm supposed to be the trashy one of this podcast, and y'all motherfuckers are talking about ice piss and shit. So y'all can't throw all
CIA
this
has
shit
it.
on
It's
me.
not
anymore.
me.
That's
CIA has
fine.
it.
Hey,
to be fair, Tex, we have not talked about tits at all.
the CIA,
So it is a level
the
of
CIA
class.
has many things, including Kennedy's missing brain. By the way, they never found that. Know that.
Probably.
But
Back.
Don't
you
worry,
know.
Trump will release it with all the Epstein files next week.
no, I ain't trusting Pam Bondi for dick, whatever. But it is what it is. But yeah, no, it's it's all good.
Oh goodness, we should end this now before we get ourselves in trouble with YouTube.
Oh, I can
I-
get you kicked off of YouTube in 5. Yeah, it's best I don't talk about this.
This is all you have to say against kicked off YouTube. My name is Tex. There we go.
And
Oh
I'm
no,
an
there's
alcoholic.
plenty of other things that he can say that he's said. That
you don't even realize the level of censorship I have to put on myself. It's not even fair to me.
Cora
right now.
wasn't
Cora
here.
knows.
Cora wasn't here for when we reviewed the hunt. It's like,
Oh God.
he probably uses the N word.
Definitely uses the
Hey,
I'm gonna
hey.
next time you say shit like that, I'm gonna throw some ice piss on you.
She's gonna have a new ice bucket challenge. It's just gonna be buckets of ice piss. She's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
jump on
not going
that.
to be for. Well, that wasn't autism. I forget what that shit was. It was some dumb fuck thing. People throwing goddamn ice water on themselves.
Yeah,
They're a bunch
whatever. It's just dumb.
of retards, but whatever.
You can't
Let's-
say that word.
We're not
I
monetized.
don't say what I want.
Tex, just say Casey instead. It means the same thing.
Oh, well, that's fair enough. Fair enough. Touche, Cora. Touche.
She brought it back. She brought it back.
She's taking it back.
That's weird. Come on. Take it back.
Oh, there you go.
Love
we
you,
should-
Casey.
Oh, now I watch
we should
Clerks
end
too.
this now while we have a chance. But
Oh.
let me get your guys'
You're
final thoughts
probably right.
on the sum of all fears. I'll go to
Let's
you
get
first,
Texas
Tex.
first.
Since you
Yeah.
just popped in, Tex, give me your thoughts on the sum of
He
all
doesn't
fears
get
of
to
the movie.
cheat.
Yeah, I'm not huge on the Jack Ryan stuff. I've seen a handful of the movies. I'd say this was probably my favorite. Probably Red October #2. The rest of them kind of whatever for me. Affleck really brings it in this one. Affleck is I don't agree with anything he does personally, but he's a great actor, so I can separate the art from the artist. But I'd say this is probably the best of the Jack Ryan stuff, film wise, anyways. And yeah, it's a good movie. I haven't read the books, but I like the movie.
I know, Lady
In the
Cora, how
books, the bad guy's always named Tex. Anyways, what were you asking me?
about- give me your
So he's
final
a
thoughts
badass.
on- give me your final thoughts on the sum of all fears.
Fantastic movies, in my top 100 movies ever. It's the best in all the Clancy movies so far that have been adapted to the big screen, and you can't go wrong with it. It's fantastic.
And Stuart, there were multiples.
Yeah,
Oh
there's
my
at least
God.
3. There's
Oh
at
my
least 3 that I can remember,
God.
probably more.
Of course, Snort.
And somebody better have clipped Frank saying, and it's a good thing the Nazis came or whatever it was you said.
It's a good thing we brought Nazis back.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna
there
start-
we go.
We're bringing it back.
I'm
We're
gonna
bringing it back.
I'm gonna start a heavy metal band, and I'm gonna name it Chorus Snort. That'd be a hell of a name for a
No,
band.
just name it Ice
Like
Piss.
punk band or
Ice
something,
Piss Snort.
Either way, those are Ice Piss and Chorus Snort. Those are both good heavy
You
metal.
know what?
bands.
Yeah, no.
Ice
Piss sounds like a good name for a punk band.
I dig that. I would buy tickets to that show and wear like galoshes, but
And have the 3
you know.
members of the band all wear shirts. One that says C, one that says I, one that says A.
Yeah.
Get it?
there you go. Yeah.
Hilarious.
There's a band that used to be around here that I will not repeat its name while we are on air, but I'll tell you guys later about it. But there's worse things.
Wow.
I'll say it. Just text it to me. I'll say it. It's fine.
I've probably told you about it before. To be honest, I've probably told you about
Can you type it in the chat without getting in trouble?
it. Probably not.
then we're in trouble. Shit.
I'll say it. It'll be out in the ether that I said the words, but I will. Have liability.
How
I'll
old
just
were the
do that.
band members? Are these like kids or old guys that came up with the
They're-
name?
Well, they were my age, so they're probably my age now. But I think
Okay.
at the time, like probably teens, maybe like their early 20s. But
All right, that explains the immaturity. Oh wait, you guys don't mature with age. Never mind.
no, I don't. I turned 15
That's
and
no
then I
fun.
never grew up.
It's
I
all
hit
right.
20. I hit 20, and I was like, nope, stopping right here. I don't care how gray my hair
Us
is.
Yeah.
girls, we
Bald
have
I go.
curtains in our bathroom.
I
You
was,
guys have
I was about to
wrong.
say, like, we don't have curtains and shit. Come on now.
You put curtains in a fucking men's bathroom. That's the first thing I'm wiping my ass with on the first day. All right, telling you right now.
Oh no,
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna give you an overshare. I am so girly. I buy the toilet paper that has the lavender scented rolls, so all my toilet paper smells like lavender. Like I go to that level to make my bathroom
Amazing.
girly.
Amazing.
For God's sake, Jeremy, help me get out of here. Give me your final thoughts on Some of All Fears.
I'll play you out, Sam.
That's what she said.
hell. It was for a first time watch for me, and like I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm kind of sad that like I didn't really watch as many of these as I had. So maybe I'll start getting into some of the stuff that they have more recently. I don't know, because really my only experience with this was the Alec Baldwin and Harrison Ford ones, and any of the video games. Like I said, Rainbow Six, fucking The Division, Splinter Cell. So that's really my experience with Tom Clancy. So yeah, good fun movie, and honestly, it's worth a watch.
Yeah, I again, I'm a bit biased because I love these books. I've read almost all of them. I'm a couple
Nerd.
behind. Yeah, I know. Hey, I got to read something, and I can't just always read like the video game covers like Casey does. But
Casey can't read. Don't lie on YouTube.
I'm sorry. I'm
I'm
sorry. He has somebody read them to him because he can't read. Probably his homeless
His
movie
little
going
juice
friend
box.
he goes with. Yeah.
He invites he invites over Hobo Jim. He jerks him off and says, "Here, hey, read this while you pull on, dude."
Why is his
That's
name?
Mario.
Wait a damn
Are we
second.
talking about Casey or Tommy NC 2010 or whatever the fuck his
Either
name
way.
was?
No, Casey and his friend Hobo Jim, which
I don't think
named,
Tex
by the way.
knows about all that.
Yes, I do.
They're-
I'm aware.
Oh,
But I'm not
okay.
talking about Casey.
They're interchangeable at this point.
I think
But,
so.
Yeah, I like this movie. It's very, very good. Again, it's a great mix of the political intrigue, spy stuff, action, drama. It's a very well done film. Ben Affleck is hitting his prime at this point. Morgan Freeman, Cromwell, all these guys that were already very, very good. Just kind of fill out a bunch of a really great movie. Again, I'm biased because I've read many of the books, but I mean, I tell you what, you bring me Rainbow Six in film form, I promise
man.
that movie would be great. And if you are so inclined, I would suggest you go get Rainbow Six. Jack Ryan is not in it, but it does have John Clark. It has Domingo Chavez, who is a character that is in one of the that is in, I think, Patriot Games. It gets introduced in the film in a young version of Domingo Chavez. He is an important part of the of Rainbow Six as well. So a lot of these characters that are kind of ancillary are the ones that are focused on that book. So read Rainbow Six if you get a chance. It's a great book. It's actually my favorite book of the Ryan-verse, despite the fact that Jack Ryan is not in it at all. But But yeah, it's a great movie. It's available right now on Netflix. It's actually, I think, also available on Paramount Plus if you have Paramount Plus. I think all the Ryanverse movies are on Paramount Plus. So go give that a watch if you are so inclined. Thanks to my amazing co-host for being so great, as always, except for Tex, who comes here drunk after watching his team get their ass beat on opening day.
Damn right.
Where can the folks at home find you, Tex? Drunk at home, watching the Rangers.
Pass out in the
Here
chair.
Tuesdays and Thursdays, assuming work permits. So I don't even know what we're doing next week. I am very unprepared.
You'll be
right
busy
now.
putting
Very
up curtains in your bathroom for the women in your life.
I'm
next
going to buy
Tuesday night.
curtains with your face on them, and guess what I'm wiping my ass with?
They're going to smell like lavender, though. So
I'm
it's gonna be
very
cool.
annoyed that I sent a photo of myself to you, and you now have a photo to use on said curtains. Anyways.
Oh man.
But no, I will be here next week. Like I said, sorry for my absence this week. Tuesday, work was fucking nuts. Wasn't able to be here, but it should be getting back to normal. So hopefully, I'm back here to annoy Frank and Jeremy and Cora and, do all the fun shit. So what do you got?
And to the Dowager Countess Lady Cora, where can the folks find you, my dear?
No, we're allergic to the internet. I pop in here when I want to, and am welcome to. And otherwise, I'm chasing dogs and screaming at construction workers to stay the fuck away from my new air conditioner.
So Lady Karen's going to be her name if she's not careful.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you a quick for a moment. The old
She
one
wants to
before
speak to
I
their
had it
manager.
replaced. Oh, you don't even know the phone calls I've made. I had to stand in between a pile of gravel that was taller than me. I'm 5'5" for reference. That was sloping down and about to fall onto my air conditioner. And I said, "Give me a fucking shovel or get this shit out of here now." And so I have to be mean to these people to get them to do their job. So yeah, I am. So I'll be doing that until Tuesday.
And my hetero life mate Jeremy, where can the folks at home find you, my friend?
I'm sorry. Is Cora just Gandalf now? Did she just say I come here when I mean to?
Yeah.
Is that what she
Well,
said?
no, when
You
I-
shall not pass. Yeah, there you go.
Amazing.
Oh fuck!
There's that one.
It's
No one. Flip it.
And hey, that actually works because she said she shows up when she wants to. What did Gandalf say about a wizard? He arrives when he wants to, or he's supposed to, or whatever.
God.
This shit's connected here, y'all.
I don't
I'm
have a beard.
Well, not that we know of. We don't see your face right now.
That's what Spirit
Who
Hollow
knows?
means.
Wow. Well, I am an AI program, and that's a secret.
Yeah, there you
so,
go. I'm talking to a Elon bot right now. Who knows what you are. So good.
Fucking anyway, I don't know what we're doing next week either, but I'm here Tuesday and Thursday. But I probably could say with full confidence that it's not going to be Die Hard. So whatever we're doing next week, I'll probably
It
be
isn't
here
Christmas, so why would we?
for. It doesn't even matter if it's Christmas anymore.
Don't even. I will fight.
Like I said, me
I'll
and
throw
Tex are going
a can of ice piss at all of you.
Jeremy and I are going to be like the Spartans in 300, correcting you motherfuckers. on
against
this
every.
shit.
I know. We're
Yeah.
gonna start kicking people in a hole. Damn it.
I'm just gonna throw packs of curtains from Amazon at all of you.
I'm going to go down a rabbit hole on ice piss as soon as I can, and I'm going to make a whole ass video about what ice piss is, the chemical composition, the whole thing.
Wow.
Frank's going to be.
From ever
Frank's
again,
gonna
he's
get-
in a hole somewhere.
You
Yeah,
should-
Frank's
you
gonna
should
get
con Casey
disappeared.
to come on and tell me you're doing
Frank's going to
a
have
show.
2 shotgun wounds to the back of the head. Somehow he did it himself. One of those kind of things. Yeah.
Yeah, he hung himself with a 6-foot rope and a fucking, or a
Yeah.
7-foot tall rope.
No,
and a
use
6-foot rope.
curtains if you're
Yeah,
gonna do
crazy.
it. Really nice.
Here's a curtain rod. Oh my god, play us out. Jesus.
Oh, goodness.
Bye, everyone.
Oh.
Sorry, I fucked up the show.
No, you're not.
It's been wrong for about an hour now, but let's see.
you
You can find
We're on
me
you.
back here on Tuesday. I'm pretty sure Tex is going to want to be here for this one. I'm pretty sure Jeremy's going to want to be here for this one. Cora's probably going to take Tuesday off. We're going to be talking about the 1997 sci-fi horror film Event Horizon.
I've seen it.
One of my. Oh, you
It's a good
have
one.
seen it. Oh, so maybe you will be here for it. If you
Yeah,
get
I've
to
seen
watch
it.
again.
I didn't like it, but
Oh, well.
I'll come shit on it.
But I won't. I enjoy
What?
the movie a lot.
The curtains in your bathroom? Is that what you're going to shit on?
I'm
Is
gonna
that
get
what-
Event Horizon.
Oh!
Lavender
I'm gonna get a
curtain.
big Event Horizon poster to put in her bathroom, but it's gonna smell like lavender, so it's gonna be fine.
Hell
And
yeah.
we'll be here to talk about the 1997 sci-fi horror classic Event Horizon. I'm looking forward to that one. It's one I've been wanting to review for quite a while, and I'm glad I was able to find it because it's gonna be dope. I think we're gonna get a kick out of that one.
Yeah.
Aren't
Sorry.
you too old to use that word dope?
Yes,
I am
I've
too.
been saying that for years. Thanks to my co-host for being so amazing as always. Thanks for text for popping at the very end, even though he didn't have the best night. He had to watch his Rangers lose opening night. My Giants won. Thankfully,
Okay.
they're just down the road. I'll be
Hey,
down
it's
there,
fine.
I'll be down there Saturday to watch.
2023 World Series champions, so fuck off.
Yeah, that was
It's
2
all
years
good.
ago.
It's
It
2025.
doesn't matter.
How long are you gonna ride?
Doesn't
that
matter.
horse? But
Doesn't
yeah,
matter. Doesn't matter.
we will see you guys here on Tuesday for Event Horizon, and of course, here in a couple weeks, we'll be doing The Last of Us. That's going to be dropping here in a couple weeks. We'll be tearing that down episode by episode, going through all that, as well as other stuff. We will see you guys on Tuesday. Till next time, adios.
Bye.
Horse piss.
Ice
Get your
piss.
ice piss.
Ice piss. Drink
Ice piss.
I mean,
Just don't snort your ice piss.
just don't snort your ice
Oh,
It is getting to the
Jeremy,
warmer
that's
time
the
of the
best
year.
line. Don't snort
Ice piss
your
could be a
ice
very
piss.
refreshing treat,
Thank you for
you know, to
cleaning
keep
my
you
tits
cool in the summer. You know, you never know.
I should set the over-under
That's the
for
kind of ice
5.
you don't snort.
The next time that Cora's on, I'm going to set the over-under for 5 as to how many times she snorts once we get her to laugh.
No!
Oh, I will be fucking swinging. I will be making her do it. Oh my
This is
god.
not a thing!
It's going to be one of those self-fulfilling
already a
prophecies.
thing.
Like, we're going to say it, and then she's just going to snort.
You know what? I'm
We're
going to start muting
we're gonna put it
every
out in the
time
universe
I'm
like
not
Casey does.
talking.
I'll catch you off guard.
I'm just going to start muting every time I'm going to forget.
Well, then we'll know if you mute every time she fucking.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.